Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's Tuesday. It's Higurashi. It's gonna be the. I think we're finishing chapter 2. Maybe dangerous to say that, but I think we're gonna be able to do it, and then we're gonna take just the smallest, the teeniest of regular scheduled Higurashi stream breaks. But we're business. I do want to say I want to get this on video before I officially click into Higurashi. I slept on it about 24 hours later after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yesterday. After thinking about it more, I'm probably even more slightly bummed about the ending than I was immediately last night. After thinking about it a bit more, I'm a little bummed how it was handled. I will say my opinions, I'll probably think better of it again, how it was handled based on how they do in the third game and how that's handled, the whole situation. And I don't want to get too much into it because this is a Higurashi stream. But yeah, I think after sleeping on, I'm like, damn, they kind of did the moment slightly dirty, which is what it is. But on top of that, I don't think I just don't like. I think I posted on social media immediately at the end of yesterday, but I'm just at the risk of sounding like a curmudgeon and grumpy and tired and old. An old man yells at clouds type situation. Cloud, get it? I'm just tired of multiverse stuff and multiple timelines, and it's just a weird crutch. And like several years ago, we were getting like a lot of stories got really addicted to using like time travel as like a mechanic, both in video games and in movies and in books and stuff like that. And I think that's obviously still around sometimes. But I want to say like multiverse and multiple universes and multiple timelines is just, to me, generally a pretty tired trope. And I just wish, I get why they have to do it, because they have to do it, because if they want to explain and bring back Zack, that was probably the initial basis for it. To do that, you would have to change. It's essentially a socially acceptable retcon, right? You can just retcon something and just do whatever for the hell of it. But if you don't explain it, then people are going to be pissed. So what's the easiest and most laziest way of explaining something? A retcon? Or just changing things because for the hell of it? You know, oh, multiple universe, of course. But that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. I just wanted to get that out on video because I thought about it for the last 20 hours or so. I'm choosing though not to be super angry about it because it's a video game, and all that said about the ending, I generally liked my time with that game. Almost every minute of that game that I played, like the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, the things I was doing, the extra stuff, the story stuff, all really great. And then it just kind of falters there at the end. And I just don't... kind of lessened it just slightly. Just slightly. Excuse me. Just slightly. I officially rated it, unfortunately, 4.5 stars out of 5. It did not get a 5-star rating out of me, in case you were wondering, because a 5 out of 5 stars for me is an important thing. I'm a very important critic, and the ending bit, was just enough. That mixed with the small other little gripes I have about the game that I talked about extensively, was just enough for me to want to give it 4.5. I almost said 5.5. That doesn't make sense. 5.5 stars out of 5. All right. let's recap real quick. For what I assume is the last bit of chapter 2 here. I was done on Saturday. Basically, you know, Ketchy and Rena are sitting around, they're bopping around. And indirectly, and finally got coaxed out of her, she tries to tell him, like, hey, I think this, what if she does something, Rena does something along the lines of, like, when she's talking to Ketchy, she's like, wouldn't it be crazy if, like, this happened? Because she's smart enough, she's investigating the area and everything. And she goes, the whole, they're talking about Rika and what's her face, Satoko disappearing. And Rina's smart, apparently. And she goes, hey, this thing, normally they have this bottle of soy sauce and it moved and it did this thing. And then she is like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if, like, she went to, like, someone else's house, got invited, and then dinner, and then it was let over, and then, Satoko came, and then Rika, and they were gonna have dinner, and then the food's in the fridge, and all this thing. And then Rina's like, huh, that would be strange, yeah? And Ketchy's like, yeah, I guess so. It's oddly specific, but okay. And then some time passed, and then they started talking about it again. I think she showed up at his house, and he's like, hey, you knew about this exactly. And she's like, yeah, I did. I just wasn't saying it outright. And he's like, damn, this sucks. We both think that Mion is to blame for this happening. Before that, I forgot to mention, there's a point where it came to light through talking with Oishi that Shion had been missing for quite some time. Or, no, not Shion had been missing. That the mayor had been missing leading up from his hemorrhoid doctor visit. It's like a timeline of events, but hemorrhoid visit all the way to when he disappeared, he was gone. And Ketchy came to, like, freaked out and was like, wait, Shion told me she at a certain time hung out or talked to the mayor, confided in him some information, and she explained everything to him and apologized and that, and he was comforting her, and he's like, those two stories don't add up. And she's at first was like, huh, what are you talking about? Huh? And he's like, what the hell's going on? What's going on? And then she just laughed. And it was like, okay, that's scary. There's like a weird thing there. So he was probably freaking out then because he's like, okay, well, one of two things, at least in my head, one of two things. That's not Shion on the phone. Or two, she's lying. Maybe we'll learn the exact thing here tonight. So then Oishi is like, hey, we're basically going to use Mion's friends here as bait because we have been denied the warrant to go search the Sonozaki household because they're this powerful family, yada yada yada. So he's like, we're gonna set up a perimeter basically, and we're gonna basically send in the kids. Rina and I almost said Koichi or something. Ketchy figured this out. They were hip to the plan. They're like, we're pissed. Like, adults are using us when it's like we're talking about our friends here. I think that was the thing that I didn't get too much into the depths about. But, like, understandably, Rina was pretty upset with Oishi. Further solidifying Oishi's kind of an asshole. And this whole situation sucks because, like, as I was starting to say, these are real people in the games universe. Real people, their friends directly both disappeared and potentially murdered their friends, right? So she's like, damn, I can't believe you're using us to have to do this for you guys, but whatever. So they go in, they talked with Mion. They have this, like, for a moment, all the tension drops. They have, like, a nice talk, like the olden days. And then that quickly subsides because they're like, fuck, we have actual business that we're here for. Towards the end of the stream, I think they were like, Mion was like, they're out there waiting for me, right? It almost felt like I didn't say this joke at the time, but it very much felt like a Chris Hansen To Catch a Predator moment, where, like, when you get those predators that, like, knew who Chris Hansen was and the show what is, and was like, hey, hey, would you like to have a seat or something? We're going to talk, and here come all the cameras and everything. And then, like, you have most of the people that just, like, bolt it in hopes that they don't have, like, cops or something way outside, but they always do. So Mion was basically that. She was the predator in the situation. I hate to say it like that, but she's like, oh, they're out there waiting for me, right? And they're like, yeah. And then at the very end, she was like, all right, well, kind of like my last rites thing, like your last meal almost. She's like, hey, can I just speak with Ketchy alone? And inexplicably, for some reason, they agree to it. Now, I was thinking about this since then. I was like, okay, Ketchy feels really guilty about everything. Throughout this whole course, he's constantly talked about how he feels that this is his responsibility. He's tied in all these people that shouldn't have been just because he was curious about a certain situation. He was able to be talked into going into that place that he knew he shouldn't have gone into. He feels directly guilty. And who am I to say, like, damn, can't believe you feel so guilty about a certain thing, that you feel like you owe a lot of people an apology and time and everything. But it is very hard to watch this and be like, damn, you're talking to someone who potentially killed Rika and Satoko, is almost 100%, almost like 100% admitting to it. Now, there's a little bit of wiggle room there. I wouldn't be surprised if something weird is going on, but that's getting a little ahead of ourselves, maybe. Like, Mion didn't actually murder them. It almost seems too crazy to think that Mion did murder them somehow, but I guess that's definitely what the story obviously is trying to paint us towards. But I'm smarter than the average bear. I know that might be a slight red herring. But yeah, Mion's like, can I speak to Ketchy alone? And Rina's like, yeah, sure. And Ketchy's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, Ketchy, if she maybe murdered 2 people, at least 2 people now, probably tied to other murders or disappearings, you're just willing to, like, be alone with her? That seems scary. But I digress. Again, if you're overcome with guilt, the one thing I'm curious about, and I don't, maybe it's like overanalyzing it, but, like, I wonder if he even registers the potential threat that he's putting himself into, or like I said, if he's just like, damn, this is a big thing. I feel guilty, and this might be the last time I get to talk with Mion, who is a friend, right? Because there's cops waiting outside to get her. So maybe it's a combination of the guilt and then him being like, this might be my last chance to talk with Mion, and I feel bad, and I did the bad thing, and technically, like, I was the bad person here. So that's why he's like, I will gift you my time. Please don't murder me, kind of thing. Crazy. And that's basically where we're at. Like I said, I think this is the last section of this chapter, but I could be wrong. So hopefully we can get this done and then do the extra whatever if they have another one of those. Easy. Easy. Clear my throat. Here we go. Load it up. I put on my shoes, tapped my toes against the floor a few times, then left. And Mion timidly came over. Why is she turning all red at a time like this? Can I hold your arm? It was such a modest request. Damn, she wants to hold his arm. A murderer. Sorry, I'm adjusting audio there. I don't mind. With my permission, her face lit up with glee, like a child being given a toy, and took my arm.
私に腕を組まれたらなんだか緊張しちゃわない？
Do you get kind of nervous with your arm through mine?
例えば急に関節技を決められちゃうんじゃないかななんて思ったりとか。
You're not thinking, for example, that would suddenly put you in a world-class joint lock or anything?
姉妹揃って同じことを言うんだな。
You two say the same things.
思わないよ。
I don't think that.
全然。
At all. Back when nothing had gone wrong yet. During those nostalgic days of the bustle and commotion at Angel Mort, I counted back and was amazed. It had only been 1 week ago. It's been what? I had been arm in arm with Shion then too. Linking arms with Mion like this really reminded me that they were twins. How much strength they put into it. The sensation of their arms, their warmth, and the blood flowing. I could feel that their living sensations were all exactly the same.
シオンもケイちゃんのことが好きだったみたい。
I think Shion liked you, Ki-chan.
そうなんだ。
I see. If this were a regular conversation, I might have jumped back, red in the face. Right now, though, no matter what I heard, my mind remained at peace.
ミオンとシオンは仲は良かったんだろ？
Mion and Shion, you got along well, didn't you?
さあどうかな。
Well, I wonder.
ケイちゃんは自分の右手と左手は仲がいいと思う？
I wonder, Ki-chan, do you think your right hand and left hand get along?
え？
Huh?
右手と左手？
My right hand and left hand?
それは仲がいいとか悪いとか、そういう言い方で例えるものじゃないな。
I don't think you could describe them as getting along or not.
そういう関係だから。
That's how our relationship is.
仲がいいとか悪いとかそういう尺度では測れない関係。
Can't measure it by the scale of how well we get along. That didn't sound like it meant they got along very well.
例えば利き腕というものがあるように右手と左手には間違いなく優劣の違いがある。
For example, one of your hands is dominant, so there'll always be a better hand.
もしも鍋つかみが片方しかなかったら迷うことなく利き腕にするでしょ。
If you only had one oven mitt, you would put it in your dominant hand without thinking, right?
そういう差はあったんじゃないかと思う。
I think maybe it was like that for us.
だからといって左手がなくなったっていいなんて思う人は誰もいないはず。
That doesn't mean, though, that anyone would be okay with losing their left hand.
そんなよくわからない関係だね。
It's that kind of unexplainable relationship.
多分それは近くにいすぎるから見えなくなっているだけで。
I think that maybe you live too close together, just stop being able to see it, but
きっととても仲のいいことなんだと思う。
I think that means you get along really well.
俺は一人っ子だから祭りの前日、
I'm an only child, so the day before the festival,
ミオンとシオンが二人してじゃれ合っているのをすごく羨ましいと思った。
I was really jealous of when you and Shion were messing around with each other.
ないものねだりじゃないの？
I think you're jealous of something that doesn't exist.
双子なんて昔は人をからかったりしてそこそこに面白かったけど、
Yes, we twins used to have a lot of fun playing tricks on people.
こうして互いがはっきりと異なる個性を持った今ではかえって邪魔なだけ。
But now that we have such distinctly different personalities, it just gets in the way. Were they cursed, or were they self-conscious? The relationship was hard to understand for an outsider. Maybe that wasn't an issue someone like me should intrude on. Just staying silent and nodding gently was the best way to advance the conversation. Mion passed through the wide yard and invited me into the big, desolate forest we'd seen on the way in. Such a big forest was part of their property, so I couldn't help but feel small.
でかい森だな。
It's huge.
子供の頃はいい遊び場だったんじゃないのか？
You must have had a great time playing in it as kids, huh? Mion seemed to be silently reminiscing. I couldn't look into her mind, but she was probably thinking back to those fun days when they played as sisters without any antagonism. Every time the wind blew, it caressed the treetops and the leaves, making a swishing, murmuring sound. Mion remained silent for a long time, thinking back on her younger sister, whom she had gotten rid of with her own hands. There was no need for me to get a word in. Just walking like this, arm in arm, was enough. Mion suddenly stopped and turned.
シオンはまだ生きてる。
Shion is still alive.
本当か？
Really? Mion took a hard look into my eyes, then nodded quietly. Yeah.
誰よりもむごたらしい死に方をさせてやろうとずっと考えて閉じ込めておいたけど。
Damn. I'd been thinking to give her the most horrible death of all, so I had her locked up.
今日までその方法はとうとう思いつかなかった。
I never did think of a good way to do it, though. Mion sounded as though she hated Shion, but also, deep down, she didn't completely detest her. So I took my other hand and rustled Mion's hair with it. Just rustle the hair of a murderer. Mion didn't only save me, she saved Shion too. There was a lot of talk about like, oh damn, Mion actively chose to like save you and you should be kind of grateful for that, and oh look, she's such a good friend to you, like she didn't murder you. It's like, I don't know if I would be able to have that mindset. I'd be like, you murdered some of our other really close friends. Huh? I'm not comfortable here. I don't care if I was spared. Maybe I'm in the wrong, but like, and maybe, I mean, I don't want to speak like I'm so highly of myself or something, but like in this situation, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't want to go as far as to say like you should have also murdered me because I feel weird and guilty being the only one alive now, along with like you, the actual murderer, but like I don't feel good about this. I would not, if like I'm thinking like if I had a friend and then some of my other friends start disappearing and then my good friend came to me and said, hey, I'm a murderer, I like murdering people, I think I have justified reasons to murder these people, but I actively did not murder you because of this reason. I would not be like, oh, let's go hold hands and talk about it. I'm so happy you saved me and spared me. Oh, let me get on my knees and grovel. Mion may have become a demon and led many people to their deaths, but she fought against it and was able to save 2 people. As I petted Mion, she narrowed her eyes in an entranced smile and untangled her arm from mine. Then, Mion quietly said,
来て。
Come with me.
私の罪のすべてを見てほしいから。
I want you to see all of my sins. Oh, God. That's not a phrase I want to hear.
でもそれはケイちゃんにとってこの上なく辛い光景かもしれない。
Although, Ki-chan, it might be the worst thing you've ever seen. I could sense it. There I would probably find all the sacrifices up until now. Laughing at them would mean accepting Rika-chan and Satoko's deaths. Or looking at them, not laugh. I'm gonna laugh at them. Looking at them would mean accepting Rika-chan and Satoko's deaths. As well as accepting that my best friend had done it.
すでに起こり終わってしまった事実だけれども、
It's already happened, and it's in the past.
ケイちゃんは見ないことを選んでもいい。
You could choose not to look, Ki-chan.
そうならばここで待っていて。
If you don't want to, then wait here.
私の手で全て終わらせるから。
I'll personally end everything. I was taken aback by how ominous that sounded. I remembered what Rina had told me. Mion might not surrender herself to justice, but choose to put an end to things herself. I couldn't leave her on her own. Besides, I agreed to her last request, didn't I? Even if it was hard for me to accept, I'll still do it. Even if I avoided looking, it was something that had already happened.
何を見たって？
It doesn't matter what I see.
うん。
Yes?
俺にとっての園崎美音は最高の親友だ。
Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have.
それは変わらない。
I won't change.
一生。
It never will. The treetops softly swayed in the wind.
あんたもレナも
You and Rena both.
どうしてこんな時ばかりかっこよくなるんだろうね。
Why do you only get really cool at times like this? Normally I'd say something rude right back at her, evading the question, but today I didn't. I just answered with a smile. At last, Mion started walking. Into the thick forest, into the deepest part. After following a thin path that looked like an animal trail for a while, we finally came across a steep incline with a tunnel that reminded me of a coal mine or bomb shelter. We were surrounded by shallow hills, yet it created a spot not visible from the outside. There were many silhouettes of crows in the trees here and there. The abnormal odor I'd been smelling for a while was doubtlessly escaping from inside this place.
引き返すなら今だよ。
If you want to turn back, now's your chance.
ケイちゃんの中の園崎ミオンがどんな人かは知らないけれど、
I don't know what kind of person Mion Sonozaki is to.
中に入ればそのミオンはきっと
But if you go inside, that Mion will probably...
変わらない。
She won't change.
何度だって言う。
I'll say it as many times as I need to.
園崎ミオンは俺の最高の親友だ。
Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. I clenched my fists. Inside there was probably a sight beyond anything I could imagine. Now this is really awkward. I just remembered that I was going to put something back into my fridge, and I don't think I did. Now that I'm just now thinking about things. Give me like 2 seconds. Super professional streamer. Alright, inside there was probably a sight beyond anything I could imagine. If I let my guard down, I might end up vomiting. Even so, I'll endure it. I'll overcome this pain and this suffering. It'll never change. That Mion is my greatest friend.
私はただの鬼だからもう人間の気持ちはわからないけれど、
I'm nothing more than a demon, so I don't understand human feelings anymore.
ミオンがあんたを好きになったのよくわかる気がする。
I have a feeling, though, that I know why Mion fell in love with you.
他人事のように言うな。
Don't say that like it's not related to you.
お前はミオンだ。
You're Mion.
鬼じゃない。
You're not a demon.
血の通った人間で俺の仲間なんだ。
You're a human with human blood, and you're my friend. Mion made a gesture like she was wiping tears from her eyes, then placed a hand on the big door of the tunnel entrance. Oh god. The lock on it was dauntingly strong-looking. It seemed to demand the appropriate resolution from whoever would enter, just like the ritual storehouse. When the double doors opened, a stifling, rotten air and a bunch of winged insects came rushing out. I remembered accidentally killing a hermit crab a long time ago by leaving its tank out on the porch, and how intense the odor it left was. If that was the smell of a corpse, that's certainly what this smelled like. Inside was pitch black, but Mion flicked a switch that turned on a light bulb, illuminating the interior. The path turned into a series of intricate wooden tunnels. We passed spaces that looked like they were for storage. We passed places that looked like someone had lived there. All this indicated that it had been used as a bomb shelter and stockpile during the war. It didn't give an impression of a dugout bomb shelter that had just been left there, though. There was a sense of dignity, as though this were a second Sonozaki house constructed underground. Despite being in pitch blackness below the ground, voices of cicadas were entering through the air hole somewhere, giving it a very mysterious feel.
最具殿の中見たよね。
You saw what was in the ritual storehouse, right?
あの拷問道具の山を。
The piles of torture instruments?
あれはすべて鬼ヶ淵村の厳しい戒律を守るために作られたものだった。
All of them were created to uphold the strict religious laws of Onigafuchi village.
戒律を破った者を見せしめにむごたらしく殺してみせる。そういう道具だった。
They were tools used to kill those who broke the laws in terrible ways, as a warning to others.
大昔の話だろ。
That was a long time ago.
本来は見せしめの儀式。綿流しは御三家が取り仕切る儀式だったんだけど、
Watanagashi, originally a ritual meant as a deterrent, was once overseen by the three families.
君吉家と古出家の衰退、そして時代の変化によって行うことはとても難しくなった。
But thanks to the Kimiyoshi and Furude families going into decline, and the way the times changed, actually carrying it out became difficult.
そりゃそうだな。
I can imagine why.
この現代日本で犠牲者をのんびりと沢でばらして殺せるなんて思えない。
You never think people could be okay with drowning people in a swamp and killing them in modern Japan.
だから園崎家は作ったの。
That's why the Sonozaki family built this.
現代でも綿流しの儀が行えるように、秘密の場所を。
A secret place, so that we could continue to conduct the rite of Watanagashi even in modern times. Mion opened a large, strikingly different door, and inside was none other than a modern storehouse for ritual implements.
いろいろあるでしょ。
There's quite a few, isn't there?
一部のものは実際に西宮殿から運び込まれたものなんだよ。
Some of them were actually brought here from the original storehouse. All the things there had been rusty and covered in dust, so they didn't seem that real. But the things in here were different. Every one of them had been well maintained, kept in a state that they could be used right away. Blades gleamed and spikes were sharpened. Also, perhaps as a precaution for the splattered blood. The walls and ceiling were covered in the kind of tiling you would see in bathrooms, and there was even a drain set amidst a slight slope in the floor. There was also a coiled rubber hose along the wall attached to a faucet, perhaps for cleaning up the splattered blood.
大昔の当主の書き物によるとね、
According to something a leader from a long time ago wrote,
血のしぶきってのは犠牲者に負担をかけない割にはインパクトがあるんだってさ。
blood splatter has impact, despite the fact that it doesn't tax the sacrifice.
綿流しは見せしめの章だったから、
Watanagashi was meant as a deterrent after all.
私のご先祖様たちは様々な章を考案してたんだよ。
My ancestors thought up all different kinds of things to show off. Wait, one sec. Did I? Oh, I know what I did wrong. For a second there. Let me fix that. There we go. My bad. Okay, my sister thought of all different kinds of things to show off. As she said that, Mion pointed deeper into the torture room to a spot veiled in darkness. Okay, my bad. I hadn't set the category, and then I was like, because I thought I had. Oh well, whatever. Don't have to worry about it. There was surprisingly a room floored with tatami mats. In the corner was a pile of cushions.
鑑賞席なんだよ。
They're seats for the audience.
綿流しは見せしめの章だから、
Watanagashi was meant as a deterrent after all.
客がいなきゃ意味がない。
It wouldn't make sense if there were no guests. I couldn't speak. I couldn't think of anything to say anyway. Except that if Mion revealing all this to me made her heart feel any lighter, I was prepared to listen for as long as I needed to.
みんなここで私が殺した。
Right here is where I killed everyone.
見てくれている観客はいなかったけど、私は綿流しを上手にやってみせた。
There were no spectators to watch me, but I did the Watanagashi very well.
いや、観客は一人だけいたかな。
Well, perhaps there was one spectator.
え？
Huh?
観客？
A spectator?
私
Me.
という鬼がミオンの執り行う綿流しをずっと見てたから。
I, the demon, was watching the entire time Mion held the Watanagashi ceremony. Mion cackled in self-deprecation. It wasn't a nice sounding laugh.
向こうが牢屋。
Back there's the prison.
シオンはそこにいるのか？
Is she on there? She nodded slightly. Mion's Watanagashi had ended today. I needed to tell Shion that I was safe without a moment's delay. After all, she was probably trembling in fear at this very moment, worrying about when she would be killed. The ostentatious door on the other side opened, revealing what must have been incredibly expansive space based on the echo it made. Mion groped around in the darkness, and a handful of naked light bulbs came on here and there. As my eyes adjusted, more and more of the great cave showed itself in the faint light. The walls were a bare rock surface, and it felt so savage that bomb shelter was the most apt term for it. There were small, barred rooms built here and there, like holes made by insects biting their way through a giant piece of fruit. It was immediately clear that each of them was a prison.
みんなはどこにいるんだ？リカちゃんやサトコは。
Where is everyone? Rika-chan and Satoko?
死体？
Their corpses? I grimaced at her, having said it so outright.
ああ、
Yeah,
そうだ。
that's right.
いつまでも暗い中じゃかわいそうだろ。
The poor things being left here in the dark like this.
虫が湧くと嫌だったから井戸に捨てちゃったよ。
I didn't want them to get infested with bugs, so I threw them down the well.
ごめん。
I'm sorry. So I can't even see their faces in death. Once again, my feelings of regret at having confessed everything to Rika-chan came surging forth. If Mion hadn't attached the word sorry to the end of what she said, I might have punched her. Calm down, Kichimaibara. You said it yourself. No matter what, Mion Sonozaki is your greatest friend.
ああ、言ったさ。
Yeah, my greatest friend. I needed to hear myself say it out loud. Then came the clattering of bars in one of the cells deeper in. When I noticed it, I looked up as well.
シオン、
Shion!
シオンか。
Is that Shion?
ケイちゃん、
Ki-chan!
なの。
Is that you, Ki-chan? I ran over to the cell. White hands were peeking out through the gaps in the bars. It really was her.
大丈夫か、シオン。
Are you alright, Shion?
怪我はしていないのか。
Are you hurt? No, no, no! Shion's face twisted out of shape as she screamed. It was because Mion had appeared right behind me. Of course. Shion didn't know that everything was over yet.
落ち着け、シオン。
Calm down, Shion.
もう全部終わったんだ。
Everything is already over.
全部。
Everything. I spoke in as calm a voice as I could manage to try and soothe the agitated Shion. However, it didn't seem like it was getting through her screams.
シオン、
Shion,
ご機嫌はいかがだった？
how have you been? No more, please. No more.
誰の死を見るのも
I don't want to see anyone else die.
嫌。私が憎いなら早く私を殺してよ。
If you hate me, then just kill me already.
憎いのは私なんでしょ。
I'm the one you hate, right?
早く殺して。殺して。
Kill me. Kill me right now. Sis!
落ち着けって、シオン。
Calm down, Shion.
もう終わったんだよ。
It's all over now.
大丈夫なんだ。
It's going to be alright.
だから落ち着け。
So calm down. Shion, who was screaming and rattling the iron bars back and forth, was truly in a frantic state. I gave a slight shrug of resignation, giving way to Mion. I had realized that if Mion was the one who locked her in here, and if Mion was the one who had scared Shion this much, then Mion was also the only one who could put an end to this. Mion spoke from over my shoulder, quietly.
安心しなよ。
Relax.
あんたは殺さない。
I won't kill you.
まだまだ殺さないんだから。
No, I won't kill you just yet. She burst out into a bizarre laugh. I was trying to make Shion's madness even worse. Shion broke out into a fierce shiver, brought on by that laugh, and rattled the iron bars as she waited. Please stop! Don't kill Ki-chan! Ki-chan has nothing to do with this, does he?
殺すなら
If you're going to kill someone, then kill me right now! I don't want anyone else to die! Damn.
そんなに死にたければこの男を殺した後にゆっくりとひき肉にしてやるよ
If you want to die that badly, then after I've killed this man, I'll take my time making mincemeat out of you.
古式にのっとり獅子の先端から少しずつ
In accordance with the ancient rites, I'll do it slowly, starting with your extremities.
ガリゴリと削ってミンチにしてやる
I'll shave you down and mince you.
あの肉引き機はあんたのために取っておいてあるんだからね
I had that mincing machine set up specifically for you after all.
それともそれでケイちゃんをミンチにしてみせた方があんたには面白いかな
So this is the point where Akechi should be listening to this, and he's like, should have the most dumbstruck face and be looking around being like, wait. I kind of agreed to come down here and hang out with you. I didn't think this was gonna happen. I was clearly under, like, it was done. We were done. Everyone was done. Or would it be funnier if I were to mince up Keychan in front of you?
おい、いい加減にしろ。
Hey, quit it already.
今さら怖がらせてどうするんだよ。
What do you have to gain by scaring her at this point? No! Keychan, run away! I tried to rebuke Mion for flinging terrible words at her this late in the game, but when I turned around... Ah! That's a scary face. Mion's mouth, so much so that it was hard to believe, had twisted into a shape even thinner than a crescent moon. It was a smile. I could sense it like a jolt of electricity. The person here wasn't my best friend Mion. It wasn't the Mion Sonozaki who had been tossed about by her heavy duty of succeeding in the Sonozaki family either. Then, who was she? Bam! I saw sparks flying before my eyes, like what happens when you get hit in the back of the head. The strength of my body drained instantly. My head suddenly became heavy. My knees buckled under the temptation and hit the floor. Then, my whole body abruptly collapsed. My face should have hit the floor, but it was comfortable, as if I had fallen into a down-filled futon. My consciousness reeled, then receded. It was a kind of sensation, like if you took a nap in the car, but you were still half awake, and could listen to your parents talking as if they were far away. No, you wouldn't be listening, you would only be hearing it. It was happening so far away, the conversation was completely unrelated to you, so you would have no interest in it. So whether Shion was yelling in my ears or Mion was in vulgar hysterics, I didn't think it annoying, nor did it interest me.
さーてどんな方法で料理してやろうかね
Now then, I wonder how I should go about preparing you.
そうだ釘台なんかどうかな
Oh, yes. What do you think of a bed of nails?
あのちびがき二人組に試したかったんだけど手が小さくて高速台にサイズが合わなかったからね
I tested on those two little brats, but their hands were too small for the restraining table.
あれにしようあれにしよ
Let's do that, let's do that. Ah ha 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 ha. Mion held me up from behind and dragged me across the floor. The soles of my feet scraped on it, and one of my shoes fell off. No! Please stop, sis! Please stop. Shion's emotions exploded outward. She burst into bitter weeping. Damn, I was fucking calling that this was gonna happen. I don't. It sounds as if Kechi, it was like half and half. Partly he felt guilty, and partly he was like, well, surely nothing bad's gonna happen now because I'll be able to talk sense into my best friend Mion. And like, Mion's like, the Mion you knew is way gone at this point. And I even said it. I said this, especially like last stream. I was like, Mion has nothing to lose at this point. The police know what she's doing. She's gonna go out with a bang because she's gonna be like, I just need to finish my task here. She had nothing to lose. Of course she was gonna... God. Ah. Shion's emotions explode outward, and she burst into bitter weeping. As if her crying had whetted Mion's interest, she held flung me down and returned to the prison cell again.
あんたも可愛い声で泣けるじゃない。
My, you sure can cry with a cute voice, can't you?
あんたのわざとらしい辛い針には虫唾が走ってたんだけど、やっぱりそういうあんたが一番似合ってるよ。
Your unnatural bravado was making my skin crawl, but this definitely suits you the best.
ミオン姉さん、
Mion, my big sister,
お願いです。
I beg you.
私をどういう風に殺しても構いませんから。
I don't care how you choose to kill me, but
どうか、ケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげてください。
please, at least let Keychain go.
お願いです。
I'm begging you. Shion had always acted as though she were a cut above her older sister. That's Shion, in such a miserable voice that I couldn't have imagined it during those peaceful times. Prostrated herself before the older sister she used to scoff at and pleaded forgiveness. Mion looked down with an expression of cool indifference, one that was plainly smiling with joy.
あんたの希望なんか聞くつもりは全然なかったんだけど。
You know, I wasn't planning on listening to your petty wishes.
あんたがあまりにも面白い声で泣くものだから。
The way you're crying, though, is just too funny.
なんだか聞いててやってもいいような気がしてきたかな。
I think maybe I'll change my mind and listen to you.
思えばあんたには姉らしいこと何にもしてやれなかったからね。
Since, come to think of it, I never did anything big sister-like for you. Yes. Yes.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you so much.
じゃあさ、
Alright then.
これまでのことを謝ってみせてよ。
Let's hear you apologize for everything.
そうしたら私もこれまでのことをすっかり水に流してあげてもいいかな。
Then maybe I'll let it all be be water under the bridge.
そうしたらケイちゃんだけは見逃してあげなくもないよ。
And maybe, just maybe, I'll let Keychan go. But she never said anything about letting Shion go. Sorry, I had to check on something real quick. Let me make sure Mion said she might let me go, but she never said anything about letting Shion go. Before long, Shion got on her hands and knees behind the bars and began to speak weak words of apology. They were too faint for me to hear, but their intention got across. Despite having watched her with a magnificently jubilant expression, Mion kicked the bars and declared she was unsatisfied.
そんなので私の積年の恨みつらみが償えると思ってるわけ？
You think you can make up for years of grudges and hard feelings like that?
こんなんじゃダメだね。
That just will not do.
やっぱりケイちゃんからひき肉だ。
Guess I'll make mincemeat out of you both! No!
待って姉様。
Wait, sis!
もう一度。
One more chance!
もう一度だけ。
Just one more chance. Mion stopped and waved her hand again in resignation. Not because she had grown impatient, but only because she was taking delight in abusing Shion.
ろくろく満足に謝れないあんただからね。
You can't apologize to my satisfaction anyway.
特別にお姉が心に届く謝罪の仕方ってのを教えてあげるよ。
I'll teach you how to make an apology that'll get through to your older sister.
一度しか教えないし、一言一句でも間違えたらアウト。
I'm only going to tell you once. If you get even a letter wrong, you're out.
いいね。
Got it? Yes. Yes.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you, sis. Shion's miserable voice cried out, having become utterly hoarse. The sensation tearing through my chest returned a little at a time. I realized it was feelings of anger bubbling up. I was slowly regaining control of my body. However, I was only able to feel my skin and my blood flowing at the moment. I still couldn't voluntarily move my fingers.
ちゃんと覚えられたかな？
Did you memorize it?
ではやってごらん。
Let's hear you say it.
誠心誠意、鉄頭鉄尾、心を込めてね。
Sincerely and faithfully, from beginning to end, with all your heart.
ちゃんとできたなら、あんただけを殺してあげるから。
If you do it properly, then I'll only kill you.
ありがとうございます。
Yes.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you so much. Something was strange. Something had become strange at some point. Until just a few moments ago, I was sure this had been Mion, but at some point, she'd become someone else. The Mion I knew well would never do something so nasty like enjoy trampling over someone's dignity like this.
さ
Now,
あ、やってごらん。
let's hear it.
お姉ちゃんはちゃんと聞いててあげるから。
Your big sister is listening closely.
園崎シオンは
Shion Sonozaki is... When I ran over to Shion's cell earlier, had the real thing been swapped out with a fake right behind me? Anyway, this couldn't possibly be Mion.
園崎シオンはミオン姉様の足元にも及ばない
Shion-san...
いやしいメス豚でございます。
Shion Sonozaki is a lowly, worthless sow, not fit to even lick her big sister Mion's feet.
身の程をわきまえず姉様に働いた数々のプレーを思います。
And when I think of countless times I've been rude to my big sister without knowing my place. Yes, that's the spirit.
少しは許してあげようかなって気になってきたよ。
I'll permit you to say a little more now. A little more now, okay? Blood circulated through my whole body. My numbed senses were returning. Just a little more. Shion is still holding Mion's... No, that thing pretended to be Mion's attention. Hurry up.
生意気だったこれまでを反省し一緒ミオン姉様に忠誠を誓います。
I reflect on how impertinent I've been and swear loyalty to my big sister Mion for the rest of my life.
ですから
So, Mion's burst of laughter echoed throughout the big cave, growing to a terrifying level. That was not the laugh of someone who was alive in this world. It was none other than the laugh of a demon from the bowels of the earth. She laughed from her stomach until she grew tired of it and stopped, smiling suddenly as if sniping a wire.
いいよ。
Snipping a wire. Alright already.
十分面白かったわ。
That was funny enough for me.
あんたがそこまでプライドを捨てられるとは思わなかったか
I didn't think you'd throw away that much of your pride.
ら。うんうん。
Hmm.
十分に愉快。
That was plenty enjoyable. Mion began to drag me again after I finally got the feeling in my body back and pulled me towards the torture chamber.
姉様
Sis!
殺すのは私だけ。
Only kill me.
その人許してあげ
Please forgive me.
安心しなって。
Don't worry, alright?
ちゃんとあんたは殺してあげるよ。
I'll be sure to kill you real good.
ケイちゃんの悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせた後にね。
After letting you get an earful of Ki-chan's screams, that is. No. After dragging me to the torture chamber, she skillfully strapped me into the restraining table. Before I knew it, I was sprawled out and bound. She forced open my hands, with which I couldn't even make a satisfying fist, and tightly restrained each one of my fingers. She fastened only my hands and my fingers at that, tightly, with hinges, and locked them in place. Sis! Don't kill him, sis! The door to the big cave with the jails had been left open, so I could hear Shion's cries of mortification the entire time.
聞こえるかいシオン。
Can you hear it, Shion?
これから始めるよ。
I'm going to get started now.
ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
Please enjoy Ki-chan's young screams.
いい加減にしろ。
Give it a fucking rest. The feeling in my body returned. First action I took was to tell off that thing that looked like Mion.
ようやくお目覚め
Awake at last, are we?
私さっき嘘をついたね
I lied before, you know?
シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけどまだ思いつかないって言ったやつ
About having wanted to give Shion the most miserable death of all, but locking her up because I hadn't thought of a good way yet.
あれが嘘
That was a lie. Mion brought over something like a toolbox. From inside it, she removed a large metal hammer, and next to that, she began to line up what looked like long, strangely shaped nails, whose ends had been turned into hooks like the kind you'd see on a harpoon.
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの
I'll let her hear the screams of all those people that died because of her, and after they're soaked into her very soul, then I'll kill her.
なかなかセンスいいでしょ
I've got pretty good taste, huh?
お前は誰だ
Who are you?
は
Huh?
ミオンでしょ
I'm Mion.
園崎ミオン
Mion Sonozaki.
恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった
Has the fear driven you crazy?
違うな
No, you're not.
お前が園崎ミオンであるはずがない
There's no way you can be Mion Sonozaki. Mion snorted, continued her preparations for the horrifying torture.
へえ
I see.
じゃあ私がミオンじゃなかったら私は誰なわけ
Then if I'm not Mion, who am I?
鬼だ
A demon.
え
Huh?
お前はミオンじゃない
You're not Mion.
さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ
Mion was just here. Give her back.
ケイちゃん本当に頭は大丈夫
Ki-chan, is your brain really doing okay?
恐怖で頭がどうかなっちゃった
You're not going crazy with fear?
触るな
Don't touch me,
この鬼め
you damn demon.
返せ
Give her back.
ミオンを返せよ
Give Mion back.
俺の最高の友人だったミオンを返せ
My best friend. Give Mion back. Mion stood there for a few moments, their jaw hanging open, not having expected me to say that. I myself knew I was about to go insane. I knew it was nonsense to demand Mion's return when she was right in front of me. But, this person in front of me couldn't possibly have been Mion. There was no way I could accept that. So, this is what I thought. Mion really had been possessed by a demon and was controlling Mion as if it were a separate personality. Mion was just a victim being manipulated by it. The evil one was really this thing. It all had to be the doing of this demon possessing her. When Mion heard that, she started to guffaw, laughing so hysterically that she started to cough and almost choked.
あんたって本当におめでたい人だね
You really are a piece of work, you know that?
園崎ミオンに殺されようとしているこの瞬間に目の前の私を否定するわけ
In this very moment, Mion Sonozaki is trying to kill you, and you're trying to reject me?
こんな面白い人が世の中にいるなんて初めて知ったわ
I never knew there was such a funny person in all the world.
笑いたければ好きなだけ笑え
If you want to laugh, do it all you want.
だがお前が何を言おうと俺はお前がミオンだなんて認めない
No matter what you say, though, I won't accept that you're Mion.
ミオンを返せ
Give her back.
退け鬼め
Away with you, demon! Wah ha ha ha.
ケイちゃん私を笑い涙で溺れ殺すつもり
Ki-chan, are you trying to kill me by drowning me in your own tears? Wah 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 wah. No matter what, I wouldn't lose that laughter of hers. I shouted loudly. I shouted from the bottom of my heart, so that the real Mion, trapped inside the Mion I saw in front of me, would be able to hear. I don't think it's working, Ketchy.
頑張れミオン
You can do it, Mion.
こんな鬼畜生に負けるな
Don't lose this piece of shit demon.
本当に強い。お前の力を見せてくれ。
You're strong. Show me how strong you are. The tears welled up and flooded down her face. Her hands were busy with the restraints, so she couldn't even wipe them. She just let them flow.
頼むよ、ミオン。
Please, Mion.
ミオン。
Mion!
どこでお前はこんな鬼に負けちまったんだ。
Where did you lose to a demon like this?
お前はこんな弱いやつじゃないだろ。
You're not that weak, are you?
負けるな。戦え。戦え。
Don't lose. Fight! Fight! Mion, desperately enduring her laughter, pressed one of the long nails to the tip of my left pinky. In her left hand was the hammer. Oh god. At her side were dozens more nails. I could tell what she was about to do, though I wish I couldn't. Even so, couldn't afford to be scared. That was why I shouted.
お腹の筋肉がよじれて痛いよ。
My sides hurt like they're about to split.
もういい？
Is that all?
そろそろ始めるよ。
I'm going to get started now.
いい声を出してね。
Be sure to give her some good screams.
これはケイちゃんへの拷問である以上にシオンへの拷問なんだからさ。
Not only am I torturing you, Ki-chan, but I'm torturing Shion as well.
どうしてこんなことに。
Why? Why would you?
ミオン。
Man! Then I wept. Only sobs came out. They weren't an acceptance of the torture about to be performed, however. They were tears of regret that Mion had lost to the demon. Yet, a small change did occur in the Mion in front of me. Her heightened excitement was draining little by little. By the time I'd realized it, the one in front of me had returned to being Mion.
ケイちゃん、
Ki-chan,
メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、
this may not be something pleasant to take to the grave with you.
どうしても知りたがっているようだから、一つだけ教えてあげるよ。
You really seem to want to know, though, so I'll tell you just one thing. I didn't know if this was Mion, or just a display of momentary humanity the demon had recovered.
私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。
A long time before the demon came to live inside me.
その鬼は私を蝕み、強行に駆り立てようとした。
It was gnawing at my heart, trying to spur me to violence, but
だけれど私はそれを理性で押さえつけた。
I suppressed it with my reason.
鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。
That settled the demon down, and I got to thinking I'd gone away somewhere.
でも本当は違った。
As it turned out, I was wrong.
私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。
It hadn't left me. It had just gone to sleep. I noticed that there were tears forming in her eyes.
その鬼はある小さなことをきっかけにまた目覚めてしまった。
The demon woke up again due to a certain small opportunity.
それは何に原因があったと思う？
What do you think that opportunity was? There was a sad and yet reproachful light in Mion's eyes.
わかる？
Do you understand? I don't. I don't know what gave the demon the chance to beat Mion. Is she gonna say something like the betrayal she felt from Kechi? Let's blame Kechi for this.
鬼の私が教えるのも変だけれど、
This might be strange for me, a demon, to say, but
あんたが全てを狂わせてしまった元凶。
you're the reason that everything got so messed up. The tears welling up in her eyes spilled downward all of a sudden.
あの時、あんたがもらった人形を躊躇なく私に渡していたなら、全ては狂い出さなかったかもしれない。
At the time, if you had given me that doll you got without hesitating, maybe everything wouldn't have gotten so twisted. The doll I got. That doll that I got when we had our club meeting at the toy store that Sunday?
ケイちゃんには理解できないだろうね。
You probably can't understand.
理解できなくて当然。
I wouldn't expect you to.
だけどね、そこからドミノ倒しみたいにパタパタパタといろんなものが倒れ始めて、
But you
収
see,
集がつかなくなってしまった。
all sorts of things started falling over like dominoes after that. And soon it was too much for me to control.
初めの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど、あなたが元凶なの。
It only makes sense that you wouldn't be aware of knocking over the first one, since it was so small. But you're the one who set it up.
そんな俺が
That can't... Me?
あんたがミオンを泣かさなかったら、
If you hadn't made
私
Mion...
は起きなくて済んだのにね。
If you hadn't made Mion cry, then I wouldn't have had to wake up.
これで十分？
Is that enough?
メイドの土産は。
For you to die in peace? A mistake that I'd made on that day was what messed everything up?
そんな嘘だろ。
That can't be, can it?
自覚がないのは当然。
It only makes sense that you wouldn't be aware of it.
でも紛れもなく元凶なのはケイちゃん。
Even so, Ki-chan, you are without a doubt the cause.
あの時あんたがさりげなく人形を私にあげていたら、多分こんなことにはならなかったと思う。
If you had nonchalantly given me the doll that day, I don't think this would have happened. I mean, that feels kind of crazy to put all the blame on him here. I don't know. This. I mean, maybe I'm heartless, but it kind of seems like, you know, if only you'd have just given me that doll I really secretly wanted, then, you know, all these crazy things I'm doing right now wouldn't maybe possibly be happening. Like, come on, Mion, come on now. You just want to figuratively nail one more nail into his coffin right now. It's crazy. I wanted to say like I just remembered something as I recalled that day. Reina told me about that, and I thought I had apologized. I didn't apologize to Mion though. It had been Shion. In other words, oh god, I hadn't said a single word of apology to Mion. Today, I came to this house, saying I had something to apologize for, but I never said a word of apology about this. Come to think of it, when I apologized for going into the ritual storehouse, Mion looked a little bit lonely, like she was disappointed. Why didn't I realize that until just now? Rina told me at the time, and now she, herself, no, the demon was telling me, is the only way for a dense idiot like me to be cured, to die altogether. I could no longer hold back the hot tears from pouring out of me. I simply just cried and reflected indifferently on the taste of my tears, on the taste of regret.
じゃあそろそろいい？
Can I start now then?
この拷問はね、とてもシンプル。
This method of torture is very simple.
左手の小指の先端の節に釘を打つ。
I'll nail one of these into the joint on the end of your left pinky finger.
順に親指まで打ったらまた小指に戻って、今度は真ん中の節に釘を打つ。
Then, I'll nail each one in order until I get to your thumb. Then I'll go back to your pinky and nail one into the joint in the middle.
この調子で15本の釘で左手を打ちつける。
So on and so on, until I hammer 15 nails into your left hand.
それが終わったら次は右手。
When that's over with, I'll do your right hand next.
それが終わったら次は、まだ意識があったら教えるね。
After that, if you're still conscious, I'll tell you.
指先ってたくさんの神経が集まってるから、 ケイちゃんが想像するよりもはるかに痛いよ。
There are a lot of nerves bundled in your fingertips, so it hurts far more than you could imagine.
両手30本を打ち終える前に失神しちゃう人もいるそうだから。
Some people apparently pass out before you finish hammering 30 nails into their hands, so... Mion pressed the tip of a nail to my left pinky finger. My wrists, my arms, and all my joints on my fingers were strapped in so tightly it hurt. I couldn't even twitch.
他の人を拷問するときには何のためらいもなかったけど、
I didn't hesitate at all when I was torturing the others.
なぜかあんたにはためらいがあるよ。
Why do I hesitate now?
それでミオンの鬼が収まるなら。
If this will satisfy your demon, Mion? If it will sate the demon, then do to me what you will.
あんた本気で言ってるの？
Are you serious?
俺が傷つけたミオンの痛みに比べれば、こん
Compared,
なの大したことないんだろ。
compared to how much I hurt Mion, this is nothing, right?
気の済むようにするといい。
Do as much as you want.
その代わり、2つ約束しろ。
In exchange, promise me 2 things. Mion was silent. She did, however, wait for me to speak.
俺を気が済むまで痛めつけたら、シオンは許してやれ。
After you're satisfied with causing me pain, forgive Shion.
西宮殿に忍び込んだ罪には、それで十分見合う仕打ちをしたはずだ。
She's been punished enough to make up for her crime of sneaking into the storehouse, hasn't she?
あんたこの後に及んで自分よりシオンの心配ができるわけ？
You? After all this, you can still worry about Shion more than yourself?
もう一つは、
The other thing,
気が済んだら、もうお前は消えろ。
is that when you've had your fill, you disappear.
その体をミオンに返してやってくれ。
Give that body back to Mion.
それだけだ。
That's all.
あんたって人には命乞いをするとかそういう考えは思い浮かばないの？
You know, are you not even considering possibly begging for your life or anything?
約束、2つじゃなくて
Can I
3つにしていいか。
can I ask you to promise 3 things instead of 2?
3つ目は、俺を殺すなにしてくれ。
The third is to leave me alive.
最初に2つって言ったでしょ？
You said 2 things, or you said 2 in the beginning, didn't you?
だからもうダメ。
So you can't have any more.
そいつは残念。
That's a shame. In such an abnormal situation, Mion and I laughed quietly together, as if sharing in a stupid joke.
多分私は約束を守らないよ。
I probably won't keep these promises, understand?
鬼だから。
I'm a demon after all.
その時は仕方がないさ。
I guess there's nothing I can do then. I recalled tightening my hands into fists when enduring the pain at the dentist's office. Right now, though, they were opened all the way to my fingertips, so I couldn't even grip them. So instead, I tightened my toes. Tighten those toes. Okay, do it. I've prepared myself already, so do it. You're waiting like this to hammer the nails in is scarier. It's going to diminish my readiness after all. Mion put down the hammer and gently stroked my cheek.
ケイちゃん、
Ki-chan,
今の3つ目の願いだけは聞いてもいいよ。
I'll agree to just the third thing, okay? Huh? My third wish? To save me? She'll agree to it.
1つ目の願い、
Your first wish?
シオンを救うこと。
To save Shion?
これはもう無理。
That's long done for.
シオンは鬼が殺してしまう。
The demon will kill her.
それはもう決められたことだから止められない。
It's already been decided, so I can't stop it.
だから諦めて。
So give up on that. Her delicate fingers slid from my cheek to my chin.
そして2つ目の願い、
As for your second wish?
この体をミオンに返すこと。
To give this body back to Mion?
これももう無理。
That won't happen either.
今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。
After today, Mion will never come back.
今日以降 もし私の姿があったとしても、それは姿だけ。
From today on, even if my body is here, it'll be just a body.
私の姿をした鬼だから。
Because Oni has taken it over.
そんなことはない。
That isn't true.
ミオンはミオンだ。
Mion is... Mion,
もう戻ってこないなんて悲しいことを言うな。
don't say such sad things. Like that she won't ever come back.
聞こえる？
Can you hear it?
あの音。
That sound. Mion gently closed her eyes and listened. I definitely heard it as well. Slam. Slam. It was a dull noise I repeated at fixed intervals. A low noise accompanied by vibrations. A lot of people were ramming the iron doors to this underground ritual storehouse.
帰りが遅いから、レナが大石を呼んだんでしょ。
You're late. Serena probably called Oishi.
あのぼやーっとした感じの子が、こんなに頭が回るのだけは計算外だったな。
That spaced out girl being so quick thinking was the one thing I didn't anticipate.
それについては同感だよ。
I'll agree with you there. Mion grinned like she'd been outwitted, then took something that looked like an electric razor out of her pocket. When she pressed the switch, pale blue sparks flew out with a snapping noise.
見たことないでしょ。
You've probably never seen one before, right?
本物のスタンガンだよ。
It's a real stun gun.
違法品なんで、かなり出力が上げられるようになってるけどね。
It's illegal, and its output has been increased quite a bit.
さっき俺に食らわせたのはそれか。
Is that what you hit me with before?
子供のおもちゃには向かねえぞ。
That's not a toy children should be playing with, you know? Cute, cute, cute.
そうだね。
You're right. She seemed to want to use a stun gun on me. Unable to move, I felt her press the cool lump of metal to my neck. Slam. Slam. I don't know how to read that. I heard a roar, as though they'd broken down the first large door. The halls were a bit complex, but aside from the door to this very torture chamber, there was nothing in their way.
殺さないけど、
She's just gotta
し
stay
ばらく
alive
ケイちゃんには
long enough
お
for
休みし
this.
ててもらうね。
I won't kill you, but I will have to go to sleep for. I will have you go to sleep for a bit, Ki-chan.
すぐに大石が来てくれるから。
Oishi will be here soon.
ちょっとの我慢。
This will only hurt a bit. Feeling the same shock as before, gritting my teeth wasn't going to help much, but I clenched them tightly anyway. However, just as she did when she was about to hammer the nails in, she hesitated a little. I cracked open my tightly closed eyelids.
ごめんね、
I'm sorry
ミオンを怪我して。
for disgracing Mion.
ここに入る前に約束した。
I made a promise before coming in here.
何があっても俺の中のミオンは変わらない。
Whatever happens, the Mion inside my heart won't change.
でも忘れて、
Look, forget about that.
今日以降、もしも私を見かけても、近寄らないでね。
If you ever see me after today, don't come near me.
それは、私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだから。
By then, it'll be the demon that inherited my corpse. What are you talking about? Just as I tried to say that, a much stronger light than before shined. Like a television being switched off, my consciousness went black. Explosion. June 1983. A string of disappearances occurred in Hinamizawa Village, Shibone City, XX Prefecture. The suspect is Mion Sonozaki, some teen years old. She is suspected to have kidnapped 5 Hinamizawa residents between June 19th and June 21st. Oryu Sonozaki, Shion Sonozaki, Kishiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hosho, imprisoned them and killed them. Preliminary investigations on the incident were delayed at the time due to insufficient evidence, but was resolved coincidentally and shockingly. On the morning of the 23rd, a vehicle patrolling the Sonozaki property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. Okay. I mean, cops lying about how they ended up here? Sure, fine, fuck it, whatever. To be expected of cops. Me getting mad at cops just because they're cops. Even though they're technically, I mean, doing the right thing, helping the situation slightly here. Unfortunately, ACAB includes cops trying to stop Mion here. That's just how it works. Screams went inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion Sonozaki, and her 2 missing classmates, Kechi Maibara and Rina Ryugu. The suspect fled the scene. Oh, she got out? How? Deep in the detached basement on the Sonozaki property, which is believed to have been used to kill those who disappeared, we discovered hair, flakes of skin, blood, etc. of the other 4 missing persons, Oryu Sonozaki, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo. It's cut off. We conclude that the missing persons were tortured in the torture chamber. However, their remains have still not been found. At one of her imprisoned classmates' advice, we continued searching the detached basement of the Sonozaki property, which was where they were imprisoned, believing that they were there. However, we still have not located them or the suspect's escape route. In addition, investigations are continuing as to her participation in the serial freak death incidents of recent years, thinking it would give some clue. But no evidence that Mion Sonozaki was involved, either directly or indirectly, has been found. There are still many unclear points as to the motive behind the incident, and as those of the Sonozaki family and the residents of Hinamizawa have been extremely uncooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been a lynching, an internal form of punishing sacrilegious acts carried out against the police of Hinamizawa village. It is clear that these incidents are particularly rooted in this region. The prefectural police department has ordered a cautious investigation. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been in prison for the longest time, Shion Sonozaki, the suspect's younger sister. But her mind was stricken by the grave after effects of the incident. She has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. The psychiatrist concluded that she is in a temporary state of shock, but it doesn't seem hopeful that she will recover today either. Only a few days passed since that time. After that, I was rescued by Oshi-san and his subordinates, whom Rina had called in. Aside from my entirely blank state of mind, I had no external injuries. The most I had was a small burn mark from where the stun gun hit me. As I was having a checkup in the hospital, Oshi-san asked me all sorts of things, but I didn't really remember what he asked or how I answered him. From what I heard, surprisingly, Mion still hadn't been captured. There are apparently a great many hallways and small rooms extending out from the depths of the prison. It wouldn't be strange if she had fled to one of those and hidden herself. The one fortunate aspect amidst all the misfortune was that Shion had been safely secured by the police. When I last saw Mion, she seemed like she was going to take me with her and then kill me. She probably didn't have enough time to, though, since Oishi-san came running in faster than she predicted. That was the only real fortunate thing to have happened. Of course, the rescued Shion, despite having no external wounds, now had a big, deep wound in her heart. She was in a severe state of confusion when they rescued her. Apparently, she bit the police officers trying to resist. From what he heard, she was seeing Mion in everyone she saw, hated not only the hospital, but even her own home, and had shut herself up somewhere in Shishibone, hiding her location. Additionally, in fear that Mion would come for her, she was moving from place to place every day, and even her parents weren't sure where she actually was. Wherever she was living, even now, Shion was spending her days in fear of Mion's shadow. Tough. The police were investigating the Sonozaki's underground storehouse at this moment, since they couldn't find the remains of the other sacrifices. Hadn't Mion thrown the corpses into a well? I had a feeling I'd said that to him. That means a hidden tunnel, vertical like a well, was somewhere in those underground passages. The secret underground, without any maps or architectural drawings, which had swallowed up the remains of Rika-chan, Satoko, and everyone else, was still unwilling to speak the truth. I was brought back to that basement again, too, for an on-site inspection or something, but I didn't remember being of any help. I never wanted to go back there again. For days afterward, the Sonozakis living in Okinomiya, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, the big-name Yakuza, would come to our house to apologize, bringing many of their followers with them. However much my parents refused it, they piled up many 100,000 yen bills, calling it consolation money every day. That's fucking weird. I feel like after this kind of thing happens, there should be some kind of equivalent to like a witness protection program that you get enlisted in. Like, this is like, I was being held, and now what? Me and my family just continue to live in this town, and just they keep harassing us. Like, honestly, I get it. Like, the parents here being like, please stop giving us gifts. This is really awkward, and we're afraid. And it's just, they should be relocated, honestly, after something like this is happening. There we go. The amount of money grew each day, and after I had passed 2 million yen, they were then given an envelope containing a letter. I don't know what was written in the letter. My parents talked about it by themselves for 2 whole nights and decided to move away. Yeah. I see.
引っ越しちゃうんだね。
You're moving, huh?
いつ？
When?
来月の終わり。
At the end of next month.
ひなみ沢には結局半年も居つかなかったことになるな。
I won't even have been in Hinamizawa for half a year.
寂しくなるね。
I'll be lonely.
私一人しか残らない。
I'm the only one left. Damn, that sucks for Rina. Rina smiled sadly. If I had just said yeah, I thought it'd make her even more lonely, so I changed the subject.
こう考えることがあるんだ。
Here's something to think about. That's how I broached it. Mion hadn't actually fled, but had been demoned away in the truest sense of the term. Where she went after she disappeared, that we didn't know. What was there? Where she had disappeared to? I hope there was a hobby shop dealing in imports, the kind Mion liked. In that place, she would definitely be free from the burdensome fetters of her family, and live not as Mion Sonozaki, but as just Mion, and enjoy herself. Maybe she's already met up with Satoko and Rika-chan. They must also have been waiting for the day Rina and I would join them, spending all their time doing club activities, as lively as they always were. When I told Rina that, she smiled and nodded to me. The incidents the Sonozaki family had been trying so hard to hide, too, were exposed to the magazines from this single tiny seam. The serial incidents of recent years were all pulled up like a long vine in the ground, one by one, and for many days news of it was brought up on talk and variety shows. The shows, which were comedic and silly, never once tried to touch upon the grim, heavy history that Mion had been bearing. It made me mad to see them bringing this stuff up in jest, but there's nothing I could do about it now. How big an impression would these short few weeks I spent in Hinamizawa have on my life? During these few weeks, I met my best friends and had the best experiences of my life. I would probably never forget for as long as I lived. As for the distorted image of Mion that the media created, after the masses got tired of treating her like a plaything, they would ball her up, throw her in the trash, and then she would fade from their memories. As one of the few people who knew the real Mion, I must always make sure I remember her. Beyond any doubt, that will surely become my offering to her. The sky reached so far up, towering cumulonimbus clouds floated through it. Got it. The real summer was just before our eyes. Even now, whenever 10 p.m. came around, I would expect a phone call from Shion, or Mion rather. Now that everything was over, of course, she would never call me. But it was precisely because she wouldn't call me that I was scared of who would call me this time. Plus, Mion still hadn't been caught. I couldn't say for sure that everything was completely over. On the other side of that fear, though, were my prayers that Mion was safe. When I thought like that, I was able to sleep, even with such terrifying thoughts. The lights were off. Before her attacking when the lights were off was something that scared me. However, that feeling changed to regret within 2 days. The moonlight filtering through the gap in the curtain shone onto the desk and illuminated a doll. That's right, the doll that I should have given to Mion that day. She said it was an import from England or something, and was all the rage, didn't she? From what Shion said, the most popular among them were the ones wearing the fluffy dress. After being released from the incident, the first place I went to was that toy store. Everything was apparently sold out besides the thing on the storefront displays. I was refused once when they said they couldn't sell the display products, but when they realized I was Survivor A from that incident, they immediately consented. Of course, even if I bought it, I might never have the chance to give it to her again. Even knowing that, I waited for the opportunity to give it to her. I waited like this for the opportunity, with it on the desk so I could give it to her at any time. Plunk. There was a weird noise. It was a noise I wasn't used to hearing. It was too big to be raindrops. It was completely different from the sound lost bugs made when they rammed fluorescent lights. Oh no. I figured I must have misheard and nestled back into my futon. Plunk. The noise happened again. I wasn't hearing things. I definitely heard it. Where was it coming from? I got up and turned on the light. If there was a second, there'd be a third. From where, though? I listened carefully. Plunk. The window. Some sort of pebbles were colliding with my window. When I realized they weren't being blown there by the wind, but rather being thrown by a person, I gave a start. I looked at the clock. It was 2 a.m. Who would it be at a time like this? I quietly peeked out front, through the gap in the curtains. In the light at the gate, despite it being so late, I saw someone. They picked up a piece of gravel and threw it at this window. It hit the window and made a plonking noise. Who was it?
Oh.
I caught my breath in surprise. If my eyes weren't deceiving me, that person was Mion. I threw open the window and looked at the figure again. My eyes certainly weren't deceiving me. It was Mion. It was Mion. She was alive. Mion pressed her index finger to her lips and made a shh motion so I wouldn't shout. If she hadn't, well, I was nearly about to cry out. Mion was in a very delicate position right now. Even if it was the middle of the night, I shouldn't call out her name. I waved to her, gesturing that I'd be right over. Why? Alright, so this goes back to the fucking thing. So before he was grateful that she had spared him and only killed the people around him. And he was like, I trust her enough and we're still good friends and yada yada yada. Then he got strapped up to a fucking torture device. And just because she hesitated for a sec and didn't end up torturing him or killing him, I think again he's fallen back into the I can trust her again. This is the good Mion. And it's just like, dude, bruh. He wants so bad for the Mion that he knew, the Mion that he feels he knows is the real and true Mion. He wants to believe that she's deep in there. She's not too far gone. She's a good person. She would never do him any harm. But it's just like, at some point you got to look at the things happening around and be like, I'm better off not, talking to you right now. And I don't think that's cruel of me to say. I think it's just, sometimes you gotta let people go. Sometimes, I'm speaking just truthfully, sometimes from experience, people you thought were good friends, people change, people reveal themselves differently. I'm not even talking about as dramatic as it, like, I used to be friends with a murderer or something. But I'm saying, like, people you thought you knew very extremely well and shared good memories with. Those can be changed by learning new things about someone. But he's a kid. So, do I fault him 100%? No. But I can still be disappointed. I waved to her, gesturing that I'd be right over, flung on my coat atop my pajamas, and flew out the door. I quickly hit the brakes just before going down the stairs. Although happiness was sprouting within me, I had the sad feeling that this would be our final parting. So I went back to my room again, grabbed the doll. If there was a God, I don't think I would have ever thanked him as much as today. Even if it would be the last time we ever saw each other. I was so grateful for this one chance to give it to her. I slipped into my sandals, unlocked the door, unhooked the chain, and leaped out of the house.
ミオン
Mion!
お久しぶり。
It's been a while.
どう？
How are you?
元気にしてた？
You doing alright? The person I almost tortured and killed. It was like how we used to meet every morning. Mion waved to me and responded like she always did. It was doubtlessly Mion. It was the real Mion.
お前こんなところをうろついてて大丈夫なのか
Are you alright? Hanging around this place?
本当はいけないよ。
I really shouldn't be. She certainly wasn't acting like she knew the police were following her. It was almost like she was a patient who had gotten tired of staying in the hospital and snuck out. Her speech was relaxed enough to make me think that. I couldn't help but be surprised. That relaxation, I thought, was more like Mion. I was happy for it.
それよりどうしたんだよ
Anyway, what's wrong?
こんな時間に
What do you need at this hour?
最後にお話ししたかったから。
I wanted to talk to you one last time. That was when I noticed them. On Mion's forehead were big droplets of sweat. Her expression, too, which I had thought to be a satisfied smile, was, upon closer inspection, trembling slightly, and I realized that she was forcing it.
私ね。もうここにはいられない。
Well, I can't stay for any longer. A pain note was beginning to enter her words as well, as if just smiling was a feat for her.
大丈夫か
Are you all right?
どこか具合でも
Are you not feeling well?
今日まで頑張ってきたけど自分でもわかるの。
Oh boy. I tried so hard until now. But I can tell.
もうダメ。もう限界。
I'm done. This is my limit.
私のお迎えはもうすぐ後ろまで来てる。
They're about to come up behind me to take me away. Mion's smile crumbled and started to stiffen. Did she push herself this much to come all the way for me? Her laughter cut off and changed into rough breathing. I reached out to rub her back, but she knocked me away.
大丈夫かよ
Are you okay?
もう無理するな
Don't force yourself.
な嘘だ
Oh, that's right.
俺ミオンに
I had something to give you, Mion. This doll. I had wanted to do this one last thing because I knew how little time you had left. This last thing, it... Gah. My stomach is burning. Mion took a meat cleaver-like knife and stabbed me. God damn it. God damn it. Fool me once, shame on me. This is catchy. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, stab me with a meat cleaver. And pushed it in tight and took it and twisted it. Mion? Hey, what? It hurts. I made it! I made it! I cowered on the ground. My stomach was so hot, it was almost spewing fire. Mion watched it, then took a few steps back and cackled.
できた、全部できた。
I've done it! I've done it all!
私が殺したいやつはこれで
That's everyone I wanted to kill. The last words Mion left me with that day came back to me.
今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。
After today, Mion will never come back. From today on, even if my body is here, a body is all it will be. By then, the demon will have taken it over. The demon. The demon. The demon.
みおん
Mion. This can't. I thought we had finally been able to meet. This can't. Mion. In a pool of blood of my own design is the doll I bought for Mion. Dyed in red. So red. Mion. The good fortune of having been allowed to meet Mion once more. And the misfortune of that meeting being torn apart before my eyes. Should I be grateful or curse it? My emotions were neither of those, as my consciousness sunk deep into a black swamp. The doll I bought for Mion, the blood, had ruined it. No matter how I scrubbed and scrubbed, it had needlessly been ruined. Ruined. The sad moon was so white it looked frozen. June 28th, 1983. A violent incident occurred in Helmazawa Village, Shibone City, XX Prefecture. The victim was Kichimaibara, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. At around 2 a.m., he was stabbed in the stomach with a bladed object by the suspect of the last case, Mion Sonozaki, and was gravely wounded. He was discovered when his parents woke up and was then transported to the clinic. He escaped death. He escaped death? He escaped death? Oh, Kichi. Honestly, I'm gonna say something that sounds cruel again. You give Mion way too many chances to fucking kill you. You should have just died there. But honestly, for everyone's sake. Just get it over with, because you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna be like, your stomach wound is probably still not gonna be 100% healed, and then Mion's gonna find you again, and she's gonna be like, you're gonna think that she's changed, and then she's gonna lop your head off or something. Honestly, she's gonna make sure that you don't escape death. She's gonna make sure it pulls off. She even said she purely was trying to kill you there. The criminal fled the scene. On the same day, at approximately the same time, a fall accident occurred in the Kimishiki apartment complex in Shibone City, XX Prefecture. Victim was Shion Sonozaki, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. Late on the same night, neighbors overheard her having a big fight with someone and informed the manager. Oh, damn. The manager used the master key to enter the room and discovered that the victim had fallen from an 8th-floor balcony to her death. The room had been torn apart and appeared to show traces of a fight. One neighbor had frequently visited the Sonozaki house for a long time, and testified that he heard what sounded like just the two sisters having a fight, trading insults back and forth. We believe this was related to the injury case that occurred the same day in Hinamazawa Village, perpetrated by said incident suspect, and did a thorough search of the room, but we cannot find any traces that would imply that anyone but the victim was present. The victim fell straight down into the foliage of a parking strip. Her neck broke and she died immediately. Her clothing was disheveled, and markings that would imply a scuffle. We also believe, however, that it could have been an insanity-induced suicide attempt based on the particular mental state of the victim after the incident. We are conducting a thorough examination on both fronts, suicide and homicide. I mean, Jesus. Disaster. Disaster on all fronts, honestly. All involved. An all
本当に
involved
5分
disaster.
だけですからね。
Here we go, we got a doctor. Only for 5 minutes. Understand?
刺激しないようにしてください。
Please. Try not to excite him.
心得ていますよ。
No, if this is Kechi in the hospital and it's Oishi, the last person I want to talk to as I'm trying to recover from a massive stab wound is fucking Oishi. Yes, I'll be careful. Ka-clack. The door opened and as I expected, Oishi-san came in.
どうも前原さん。
Hello, Maibara-san.
ご無沙汰しておりますね。
It's been a while, hasn't it?
その後、お加減はいかがですか？
Tell me, how have you been since then?
医者が言うには術後の回復は順調だそうですが、あんたの顔を見たらまた傷が悪くなりそうです。
The doctor says my post-operative recovery seems to be going smoothly, but I think I got worse when I saw your face. Deserved.
こりゃ手厳しい。
You wound me. As Oishi-san gave a laugh that smelled of sweat. He handed Mom a bag of assorted candies he must have purchased from the souvenir corner on the first floor of the hospital.
すみません、お母さん。
Excuse me, Miss Maibara.
ほんのしばらく圭一君とお話しする時間をいただいてもよろしいですか？
Would it be possible for me to talk to Kechi-kun for just a few moments? Mom clearly wasn't pleased at the thought of a police officer talking to her son without her there. As she should be. However, I insisted.
母さん、
Mom,
悪いけどほんのちょっとだけ
sorry, just a little while.
5分でいいから。
Just 5 minutes, okay? Though grudgingly, Mom left the room. When she closed the door, Oishi-san grinned widely and looked around the room.
個室なんていい身分ですね。
A room to yourself. How high class.
うちのばあさまなんかいっつも相部屋ですよ。
My old lady always gets a shared room, you know?
そりゃもう賑やかなことで、
It is quite lively, however.
ああいうところじゃ病気の重さが一つのステータスになるらしいんですよ。
Seems like you're a higher rank if you have a worse disease in places like that.
より重病な患者ほど偉いというか、威張っているというか。
The sicker you are, the prouder you are, or maybe the more arrogant.
大石さん、5分ですよ。
Oishi-san, we only have 5 minutes.
できればこれが本当に最後の5分にしてほしいものです。
I would like it if these were the last 5 minutes we ever saw each other.
俺はもうひなみ沢とは関係ないし、ここももうひなみ沢じゃない。
I don't have any connection to Hinamazawa anymore. And this isn't in Hinamazawa anymore either.
沖宮には総合病院はありませんからね。
Yes, because there aren't any general hospitals in Okinomiya.
椅子よろしいですかな？
Mind if I take a seat?
ゆっくらしゅっと。
Down we go. This was a large university hospital in Shishibone City. It was splendidly urban, entirely different from the likes of Hinamazawa and Okinomiya. It was hard to believe Hinamazawa was part of the same city.
転院はいつ頃になりそうですか？
When does it look like you'll get transferred?
さあ、
Don't know.
俺的にはいつでも OK なんですけどね。
I'm ready to go whenever, though. Our moving plans were delayed a little because of my serious injury. My parents had already left the house in Hinamazawa, though, and we're living in our new one. Also, fuck, dude, I said it a little while ago. When the first thing happened and he was being almost tortured by Mion, immediately there should have been some witness protection program like thing. I don't know if calling it witness protection program is the right thing, but like, look what happened. They fucking stayed in the same house. They were just like, oh, we'll maybe move in a few months or whatever. And then fucking Mion found him and then stabbed him and almost killed him again. Like, what? Because your son is stupid and doesn't know that he should just not try to talk to Mion. Ugh. Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting. I'm disgusted. No one has any sense in this game. Everyone is dumb. My parents had already left the house in Yamsel, though, and we're living in our new one. They planned to have me transfer hospitals to be closer to the new house once I'd recovered enough to be taken there.
転院先にまで来ないでくださいよ。
Please, don't come to where I'm transferring.
本当に具合が悪くなりますからね。
I really will get worse then.
いやすっかり嫌われちゃいました。
Man, you really do hate me.
仕事柄とはいえ心苦しいですよ。
It may just be my job, but that stings.
なので今日はこれまでの罪滅ぼしに素敵なお土産をいろいろお持ちしましたので。
That's why I brought you all kinds of lovely souvenirs in atonement.
別にクッキーの詰め合わせなんか持ってこなくても。
You didn't need to bring an assortment of cookies for that.
それがね、
Well, you see,
実は中身はクッキーじゃないんですよ。
there aren't actually cookies in there.
ほら。
Look. Oishi-san pulls open the can of cookies and... What? Ow, ow, I'm stretching my scar.
前原さんの好みがわからなかったのでいろいろと持ってきましたよ。
I didn't know what you were into, Maibara-san, so I brought all sorts of things.
ほら、よりどりみどり、野原は黄緑ってなもんです。
See, all sorts of cute-looking ones from westerns to comic strips.
さあさあ、好きなだけ持っていっちゃってください。
Lately, they have this sort of H manga aimed at girls, too.
こんな本なんか持ってこないでください。
Oishi is so I'm so tired of him. Don't bring porn in here!
持って帰って持って帰って。
Take them home and go home!
いってててててて。
Ow, 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 ow. No. Giving a child porn. I laugh.
健全な若者がこんなところにずーっと閉じ込められてたらさぞやご入り用だと思ったんですけどね。
I thought for sure a young person like you would be feeling a little needy, being cooped up in a place like this for so long.
こんなところにいると看護師フェチにしかなりませんよ。
If you stay here too long, the only fetish you'll end up with is a nurse one, you know.
世の中には看護師さん以外にも素晴らしいものがいっぱいあるんですからね。
There are plenty of other beautiful things in this world besides nurses, after all.
今から専門を決めないで幅広く
Don't decide what to major in now. Keep your options open.
オールラウンドに行かなくっちゃ。
You need to be a more all-around type of person. I gave Oishi-san's vulgar laughter a pained grin. Somehow or other, I understood. The fact that Oishi-san was bringing it up like this meant that he must have had something important to talk about.
シオンさんの件は本当にお気の毒でした。
The incident with Shion-san really was unfortunate. The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. They said the police were investigating all possibilities, accident, suicide, and homicide, but it could have only been Mion's doing. Mion found out where Shion was hiding and pushed her down to her death. Nothing else was conceivable.
事故のわけない。
It couldn't have been an accident.
ミオンです。
It was Mion.
絶対に。
It had to be.
鑑識の連中は自殺だとしか思えないなんて言ってるんですが、私も前原さんと同じ意見です。
The criminology guys are saying it had to be suicide, but I'm of the same opinion as you, my brother-son.
シオンさんを突き落とし、さらにあなたを刺した。
She pushed Shion-san and also stabbed you
一晩のうちにね。
in one night.
ミオンはまだ見つからないんですか？
Has Mion still not been found?
そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
それを今日はお伝えしたくて来たんですよ。
That's what I came here to tell you today.
はい。
Yes.
実は
We
見つかったんです。
actually did find her. What?
あ、いててててて。
Ow, 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 ow. Learning that felt rather strange to me. I was partly relieved that the incident was truly over, and I was partly sorry that my best friend had finally been caught. I felt many other things too. My heart was a maze of emotions.
それだけじゃない。
That's not all.
園崎家の例の地下、
In the Sonozaki House catacombs,
隠し井戸も見つかったんですよ。
we found a hidden well.
前原さんがおっしゃられてた通り、失踪者全員の遺体をその底で発見しました。
Just as you said, my son, we found the remains of all those who disappeared at the bottom.
そうですか。
I see. That sliver of hope. That possibility I believed in. That Rika-chan and Satoko were alive. Just from the fact the remains hadn't been found. Gone.
あの地下に実に巧妙に隠されてましてね。
It was incredibly well hidden in those catacombs.
いやいや、まさに死角中の死角でした。
I mean, it was in the blind spot of another blind spot.
井戸状に掘られた垂直トンネルでして、
It was a vertical tunnel dug out like a well.
はしごが設けてあって、下へずーっと行ったところに、今度は横へ抜けるトンネルが作られていました。
There was a ladder set up there, and when we went all the way down, there was another tunnel built like going through it.
そこを数百メートルも張って進むと、なんと山中の古い井戸に抜けられましたね。
When we followed it a few hundred meters, we found ourselves at the mouth of an old, unused well in the mountains.
過去の園崎家の当主が作らせた秘密の逃げ道だったんでしょうね。
I wonder if it was the secret escape route a previous Sonozaki family leader built.
でしょうな。
Probably was.
明治以降に作ったものでしょうが、
Maybe it was made in the Meiji era?
いやいや、よくもあんなものを作ったもんです。
Still, I'm impressed they built something like that.
みんなの遺体はその底に。
So everyone's remains were at the bottom?
はい。
Yes.
逃げ道の通路よりもさらに下に、コールタール状の泥水が溜まってまして、
Even deeper down than the escape path, there was a pool of coal tar.
そこに無造作に投げ込まれていました。
They'd been casually thrown into there.
相当の高さから落としたわけですから、遺体はどっぷりと埋まってしまってましてね。
They had fallen from a fairly high spot, so their remains are totally buried in it.
遺体の引き上げにはだいぶ苦労させられました。
It took a lot of time and effort to pull their bodies up.
全員見つかりましたか？
Did you find them all? I hoped that they at least wouldn't find Rika-chan or Satoko. That's what I wished for when I asked, but my shallow hope was crushed in the blink of an eye.
はい、
Yes,
全員。
all of them.
それどころか死後10年以上経過したと思われる人骨も見つかりました。
In fact, we also found human bones we think are over a decade old.
最低でも3人分はあると思われます。
We think there are at least 3 people.
ひなみ沢の歴史の暗部というわけでしょうな。
Suppose it's the dark side of Hinamizawa's history.
泥を全部吸い出したら、一体何人分の骨が出てくるやら。
I wonder how many people's bones we'll find when we've sucked out all the mud.
怖い話です。
It's a scary thought. That weight had been pushing down on Mion's shoulders the whole time. Mion.
今、獅子骨市内の過去数十年の失踪者を洗い直しているところです。
We've currently identified people who disappeared from Shishibone City decades ago.
諦められてた失踪事件も、これを機に全部解決するんじゃないか、なんて言われてますよ。
People are talking about how this opportunity might let us resolve the disappearing persons cases that have been abandoned. After deep silence, he breathed a heavy sigh. Oishi-san went for his cigarettes to pass the time, but realized this was a non-smoking area, so he gave up and put them back in his shirt pocket.
そうそう。
Oh, right.
これは寄り道なんですが、
This is a bit of a detour,
古出里香さん、ご存知ですよね。
but you know Rika Furude-san, right?
もちろん
Of course.
仲間ですから。
She's my friend.
彼女、例えば糖尿病でインスリンの注射を常用していたとか、そんな話はありました？
Did she ever tell you anything along the lines of her regularly taking insulin injections for diabetes? Rika-chan has diabetes? I didn't know what he was talking about.
実は彼女のスカートのポッケからですね、
Actually, we found it in her skirt pocket.
注射器が見つかりまして、
A syringe.
破損していたので薬物は特定できなかったのですが、
It was destroyed though, so we couldn't identify the medicine.
少々不似合いだったので興味を持ちまして、
It was a bit out of place, so I got interested.
本当にご存知ありません？
You really don't know anything? Dude, was Rika gonna try to stick fucking Mion Let's fucking go, Rika. Let's fucking go. I didn't know anything about Rika-chan carrying syringes around with her.
園崎家は本業の方。ああ、薬剤屋さんのことです。
The Sonozaki family corporates, or the Yakuza people.
で、覚醒剤を扱ってるとの噂がありましてね。
Anyway, there's rumors that they deal in psychostimulants.
その可能性もあるかなんて思ってたのですが。
Maybe I'm thinking too hopeful. Maybe I'm like, maybe it is something different. I was thinking that might have something to do with it too.
リカちゃんが覚醒剤の常用者だっていうのか？
Are you trying to tell me that Rika-chan is a drug addict?
いえいえ、そうは申してませんよ。
No, not at all. That isn't what I'm saying.
ただ、お醤油をもらいに行くついでに注射器を持っていくってのは、どう考えても変ですからね。
It just seems strange however you look at it, that she would bring a syringe with her on the way to get soy sauce. I have no idea what any of this means. No, it is trying to, I mean, I don't know if Kechi realizes it yet, but it seems as if it's trying to point out the fact that maybe Rika knew that was her opportunity to try to get me on, because she was telling him that I'll take care of the situation. I will help the cat. I don't know if I read that. I have no idea what any of this means. My eyes are spinning. I feel sick.
大丈夫ですか？
Are you alright?
看護師さんを呼びましょうか？
Should I call a nurse?
大丈夫ですから。
I'm fine.
話の続きを。
Please continue.
まあ、注射器の話はそれだけです。
Well, that's all I had to say about the syringe.
それだけが個人的に気になったもので。
It was the only thing that personally struck me as interesting. Rika-chan.
リカさん、村のマスコットみたいなところがありましたからね。
Rika-san was sort of like the village mascot after all. The mascot to my heart.
今、村は騒然としてるみたいですよ。
Looks like the village is in an uproar right now.
盲信してた年寄り方と殺してしまった園崎家とで。
Between the older blind believers and the Sonozaki family who killed her.
実効支配していた御三家もほぼ全滅状態。
The three families' effective control over the village is basically in shambles too.
こんなタイミングでまたダムの話が出てきたりしたら、今度こそ間違いなく敗損でしょうな。
If someone came up to them with the talk of a dam again, with this sort of timing, the entire village would be abandoned for sure this time.
もう俺、ひなみ沢とは関係ありませんから。
I'm not related to Hinamizawa anymore. I actually was. I just said it because the thoughts about Hinamizawa being abandoned was unpleasant, and I wanted to end the conversation quickly. There was a knock at the door. It opened slightly. My mom asked if we were still talking.
ありゃ、
Whoops.
無駄話が過ぎましたか。
We went off topic, didn't we?
参ったな。
What a pickle. I looked at the clock. 5 minutes were long past. I was about to say, it was definitely more than 5 minutes. He told my mother that there was something he really wanted to ask, and if she could wait a little bit longer.
そう？
Is that so?
手短にね。
Keep it short, okay? There wasn't any getting around the fact that she was thinking about what a police officer could be talking to her son about.
日を改めた方が良さそうですね。
Maybe we should choose another day for this.
大石さん。
Oishi-san?
ミオンは今、どうしてるんです？
Mion, how is she right now? I wanted to just hear that answer and then get rid of him.
それを話す前に、
Before I
前
tell
原さんに一個だけ。
Before I tell you that, I just need one thing from you.
本当に正直に答えてもらいたいことがあります。
I just need you to answer something in all honesty.
何ですか？
What is it?
本当に真面目に答えてくださいよ。
I want you to take your answer seriously. Got it?
これ、いい加減なこと言っちゃうと、場合によっては
Damn.
捜査撹乱と見られて告発される場合もありますからね。
If you say something indiscreet, it could be viewed as an obstruction of the investigation, and you could be prosecuted. Oishi-san kept threatening me until the end. What the hell did he want?
前原さん、
Myra-san.
シオンさんを突き落とした犯人は誰だと思います？
Who do you think the criminal was who pushed Shion from the balcony?
ミオンしか考えられないじゃないですか。
There's no way it could be anyone but Mion, is there? Oh no. Well,
では、あなたを刺したの誰です？
then who was the one who stabbed you?
何度も言わせないでください。
Please don't make me say it again.
ミオンですよ。
It was Mion.
園崎ミオン。
Mion Sonozaki. Oishi-san smiled bitterly, then dabbed at his forehead with a handkerchief to wipe his sweat. He should have expected that answer. It looked as though he wasn't satisfied with it.
シオンを突き落として、俺を刺して。
She pushed Shion and stabbed me.
ミオンの犯行だって、さっき大石さんも認めたじゃないですか。
Didn't you just admit yourself that Mion was a criminal?
シオン殺しの犯人がミオンだという根拠は、隣人の男の証言によるものなんです。
The evidence we have that Mion killed Shion is based on testimony from the man living next door.
この隣人ってのは、実は暴力団組員、つまりシオンさんのボディーガードだったんですよ。
This neighbor is actually a member of an organized crime group. In other words, he was Shion-san's bodyguard.
このうちのリーダー格が古参で、園崎姉妹が幼いうちから親身になってた男なんだそうで。
Seems he's a veteran leader in that vein and was like a parent to the Sonozaki sisters growing up. That man said this. The noise he heard from next door was just like the sound of a fight between the sisters that he was used to hearing when they still lived together. And no, there was no doubt about it. He said he heard Mion and Shion insulting each other and heard them struggling. At first, though, he thought it was hallucinations she was having, brought on by her dementia. You see, he thought that because of the sort of ruckus had been occurring every night. However, that night had been longer than the rest, and he claimed that he went to her room and gave her a sedative. The noise died down while he got the manager to give him the key. He'd already decided he'd at least check up on her, and after she wasn't answering his calls, they took the plunge and unlocked the door. Wait, let me say this. How did that he'd been longer than the rest? And he claimed that he went to her. Oh, okay. For some reason, I read the line, and he claimed that he went to her room to give her a sedative, as if that he had accomplished the goal of giving a sedative. But it's saying he was like, "Oh, it's longer than the rest. This prompts me to go to the room." Okay, that makes sense. Then they saw that the room was a mess. Since Shion had been pushed over the balcony, they decided it had to have been Mion. That's how it happened.
つまり、壁越しに聞いたというだけなんです。
In other words, he only heard from the other side of the wall.
しかもこのマンション、組の関係で住人がほとんどいないんです。
Plus, because the apartment complex is connected to their organization, doesn't have many residents.
ですから、この騒ぎを聞いてたのも彼らだけ。
So they were the only ones who heard it happening.
重ねて言えば、園崎ミオンを目撃した者は誰一人いないんです。
To reiterate, there was only one person who witnessed Mion Sonozaki.
見なくったって、そんなのミオンの犯行だってわかるじゃないですか。
Even if he didn't see her, isn't it obviously Mion's doing?
まあまあ。
Now, settle down.
だから、つまりですね。
This is what I'm saying.
あなただけが、あの晩、確かに園崎ミオンを目撃した唯一の人間ってことになるんです。
It means you are the only one who saw Mion Sonozaki for sure last night.
もう一人の目撃者のシオンさんは生きておられませんからね。
After all, Shion-san, the other witness, is no longer alive.
大石さんが何を言いたいのかよくわからないんですけど。
What are you trying to say? I don't really understand. At that point, Oishi-san paused. The fact that this was a no-smoking area completely slipped his mind, and he took out his pack of cigarettes again. Kerchak. He lit one with his lighter, and exhaled a long stream of tobacco smoke.
あなた、
I had a feeling this is where this
本
was
当
heading.
に
Oh!
園崎ミオンに刺されたんですか？
Were you really stabbed by Mion Sonozaki?
はい、
Yes.
間違いなく。
There's no doubt about it. The smoke Oishi-san breathed out floated away, like a thunder cloud swept away by the wind.
大石さん、ここ禁煙です。
Oishi-san, you can't smoke in here.
看護師さんに怒られますよ。
The nurses will get mad.
実は 園崎美音も井戸の底から見つかったんですよ。
Actually, we found Mion Sonozaki at the bottom of the well, too. What?
転落死です。
She fell to her death.
あの井戸の隠し通路から逃げ出そうとしてはしごを降りる途中に足を踏み外し、
We believe that as she was trying to escape to that hidden passage in the well, her foot slipped while climbing down the ladder.
そこまで転落し、
She fell to the bottom,
首の骨を折って死亡したとみられます。
broke her neck, died.
はい、
Yes.
シオンさんと同じにね、
The same way as Shion-san.
首の骨を折って。
She broke her neck.
と
Well, what?
あの日、前原さんを気絶させた後、園崎美音は隠し井戸から外へ逃れようとして、
After he passed out that day, Mion Sonozaki tried to escape using the hidden well,
足を踏み外して死んだのです。
but her foot slipped and she died.
まるでそこに突き落とした他の犠牲者の死体に呼び寄せられるようにね。
As if beckoned by the corpses of the other sacrifices, she dropped down there.
それじゃあおかしいじゃないですか。
But that doesn't make any sense, does it?
検視の結果、間違いなくあの日に死亡したものと確認されました。
The autopsy came to the conclusion that she definitely died on that day.
あなたとシオンさんを襲ってからあそこに戻ったんじゃない。
She didn't go back there after attacking you and Shion-san.
あの日にすでに死んでいたんです。
She was already dead by then. She definitely died on the day. She didn't go back there after attacking you and Shion-san. She was already dead by then. Ah! My jaw was on the floor. There was absolutely no way that could be. Mion was the one that stabbed me. It had to have been her. There wouldn't have been anyone else to do it. I mean, the way my brain immediately then thinks of this is that it's not what originally was assumed or Ketchy thought, right? So it's not Mion doesn't go to the apartment or whatever to attack Shion, drop her over the balcony, and then goes after she and then goes and stabs Ketchy and then tries to escape and slips and falls. It seems as if Oishi is positing that Shion kills Mion, goes to Ketchy, poses as Mion, stabs Ketchy, then she's freaking out. She goes back to her apartment, she slips and falls, kills herself. And it's like a suicide. Maybe an accident. An accidental suicide. Accident/suicide. Whatever the case is. Not a homicide. For all intents and purposes. I think that's what Oishi is suggesting here. Anyway. There wouldn't have been anyone else to do it.
じゃあ
A slight change of order.
誰が俺とシオンを襲ったんですか。
A slight change of order of operations, and then also not Mion, who he thought stabbing him, but Shion posing as Mion. Maybe. Then, who attacked Shion and me?
誰が
Who was it?
あなたを襲った園崎美音なのに園崎美音じゃない。
The one
何
who
者かですよ。
the one who attacked you was someone who was Mion Sonozaki, and yet not Mion Sonozaki. My mind had become a complete mess. I was starting to lose my ability to think straight.
高野美代さんの死覚えてますか。
Do you remember how Mio Takano-san died?
え
Huh?
高野さん。
Takano-san?
はい。
Yes.
確か遠くの山の中で焼け死んだって聞いたような。
I think I heard that she was burned to death in some distant mountains.
あれは考察された後に焼かれたことが分かっています。
We learned that she had been burned after being strangled to death.
検視したのは岐阜県警さんなんですけどね。
The Gifu Station did the autopsy.
これがちょっとおかしいんですよ。
It's a little bit strange.
初期の検視結果では死後24時間経過って出ちゃったんです。
The results of the preliminary autopsy said that she had been dead for at least 24 hours.
辻褄が合わないってことで大慌てで当日死亡って改ざんしたらしいんですが、
Since that was contradictory, in their panic, they seemed to have revised it to say she died earlier that day. Despite me being an absolute wreck over what was going on with Mion, he was telling me there was even more on top of that. I didn't understand the complex things that Oishi-san was telling me.
この死後24時間って検視結果、うちの鑑識のじじいが言うにはですね、
The result saying she had been dead for 24 hours, as her own old criminologist says,
かなり信頼できるものらしいんです。
is pretty damn reliable.
つまりどういうことか。
So then what would that mean?
これは何度も聞いた質問になりますが、
I've asked that question over and over,
あなた綿流しの晩
but on the night of Watanagashi,
高野美代さんに会ってますよね。
you were with Mio Takano-san, weren't you?
合ってます。
I was.
その前日、お祭りの準備の日にも会ってますよね。
You also met her on the day before while setting up for the festival, right?
私もその時お会いしてますし、
I mean, I ran into her too.
ええ、
Yes,
合ってますよ。
I was with her then.
死後24時間ってことは、お祭りの前日の晩にはもう死んでるってことになるんですよ。
If she'd been dead for 24 hours, then that would mean she was already dead the day before the festival.
そんなはず。
It can't be.
お祭りの準備の時には生きていた。
She was alive during the festival preparations.
でも、あなたたちと一緒に西宮殿に忍び込んだ時、高
However,
野さんはもうお亡くなりになっていたのです。
when you all slipped into the ritual storehouse, Takano-san was already dead. The origin of all that happened. The beginning of everything. Our intrusion in the ritual storehouse, which I had come to regret countless times. The one who tempted me, Takano-san. When she invited us into the storehouse, she was already no longer of this world.
今回の事件、死人が歩き回りすぎなんですよ。
There are too many dead people walking around in this incident. No. An incident caused by a dead person and ended by a dead person. The only explanation then, and I think it's a theory I joked about before, there's more than one twins. There are many sets of twins in this story. Blonde-haired lady has a pair of twins. Is one of two twins. Everyone's a twin. Twin Namizawa? Twin Namizawa. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Explain. Everyone has a twin. Whenever someone acts a little weird, it's because it's their twin replacing them. Even the fucking teacher, when she had her weird curry moment, that was her twin who's obsessed with curry. Rina? Yep. Fucking everyone. Everyone's got a twin. It's too easy of an explanation.
園崎美音の死亡時間を事件当日ではなく、あなたを刺した直後に改ざんせよとの圧力も来てるみたいです。
The ultimate twist is that even us as the reader, Kechi has a twin, and we're as the reader are not sure of when the twin switches. So whenever we have a weird Kechi moment, it's the Kechi twin. We have our own narrator twin that we're not aware of, that won't be revealed until the very end. And then you get to reread the whole story and try to think about what times the twin came in when you're getting narrated. Also, apparently they're under pressure to revise the time of Mion Sonozaki's death, not to the day of the incident, but to right after she stabbed you.
この事件をとっとと終わらせようとする外圧でしょうね。
Probably pressure from the outside to get this incident wrapped up already.
ですので、今の話はどうか他言無用に願いますよ。
so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say a word about this to anyone. Oishi-san grabbed his jacket that was hanging on the chair, put out his cigarette with the bottom of his foot, and started pretending to wave away the smoke floating around.
長居しました。
I've stayed too long.
あなたにとっての事件をせめて終わらせてあげようと思って来たつもりだったんですがね。
I'd come here thinking I could at least end this incident as applied to you, but
かえって煙に巻いちゃったようで。
looks like it got even more baffling instead. Absent-mindedly, he walked towards the door, looking at me, unable to speak, out of the corner of his eye.
もしも今後話したいことができたらいつでもお電話ください。
If it so happens that something comes up you want to talk about in the future, call me anytime.
さっきのお土産の中に私の名刺が入ってますんで。
My business card is in those souvenirs from before. You know, amongst the porn I just delivered to you. Have fun finding it.
その時はまた素敵なお土産を持ってお見舞いに来ますよ。
When that time comes, I'll pay you a visit with some wonderful souvenirs again. No. Oishi-san seemed to think I was still hiding something. That I, after all this, would be hiding something. I'm the one things are being hidden from. I'm the one who wants to know.
ではまたいつかお会いしましょう。
And let us meet again one day.
お大事に。
Take care of yourself. Slam. I listened to the tap, tap, tap of Oishi-san walking down the hallway. I still couldn't return from my state of bewilderment. Oh, it's me in a bed. Look at that. He wanted to end this incident as it applied to me. What was over? Nothing was over. The incident was still continuing. What the hell? What the hell? What the fuck? Then slip. An arm covered in... What the fuck? An arm covered in fresh blood came out from underneath the bed. I wasn't that surprised. This was an illusion I was seeing, seized with fear.
ケイちゃんだから言ったでしょ
Kei-chan, I told you, remember? I heard a guttural voice coming from under the bed. I still recognize it as Mion's voice.
なんだミオン
What, Mion?
何を言ったって
What did you tell me?
私あの日に警告したよ
I warned you on that day.
今日以降私の姿を見たとしてもそれは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだよって
After today, if you see me, it'll be the demon that has possessed my body.
そうだな言ってたよな
You did. You said that, didn't you?
ごめん
Sorry.
ちょっと注意が足らなかったな
Guess I wasn't careful enough.
だから刺されちゃったんだな
That's why I got stabbed. Possibly wounds sustained when she fell from the ladder. Many of her fingernails were broken and torn. Her arms slowly felt about on top of the bed, searching for mine. Oh,
あのさミオン
hey, Mion.
俺今こんな冗談を考えたんだ
I just, thought of a good joke.
聞いてくれるか
Want to hear it? The Mion under the bed didn't answer.
例えばさ俺が今日ここで死んじゃうんだよ
Let's just say that I died here today.
だけども明日以降もここにいて普通に生活してみせるんだよ
But tomorrow, I'd still be here, living a normal life.
で後でそれが大石のやつに分かってまたしても死亡日時が合わない
So, when Oishi-san learned about it afterwards, time of death wouldn't make sense once again.
死んだはずの人間が生活していたって言って泡を食って大騒ぎするんだよ
He'd make a huge deal about how someone who should have died was alive. He'd totally lose his head.
高野さんにミオンそして俺で3人目
Takano-san, then Mion, and then me third.
な
So,
面白いだろ
funny, right?
笑えるだろ
Makes you laugh, doesn't it?
ケイちゃん。
Kei-chan.
笑えよ。
Laugh.
それとも、あんまり面白くなかったか？
Or was it not that funny? Mion's bloodstained hand groped around and found my wrist. Though her fingernails were torn, she gripped it hard as if scratching me.
加減しろよ。痛いって。
Ow! 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 Go easy! Ow! It hurts!
ケイちゃん、迎えに来たよ。
Kei-chan, I've come for you. I tried to shake my wrist loose, but the strength she held it with was unbelievable, and I couldn't. She was only gripping one wrist, and yet my whole body wouldn't move. Couldn't even twitch. My fingers were spread apart, and I couldn't make a fist either. And that fact that I couldn't make a fist reminded me of the restraining table. I felt a crooked nail pressed against my left pinky fingertip. Ah! Ah! I'm trying to get like a zoom in on that the mirror pick. One sec, let me try something. Maybe I can do something real quick. Can I enhance this? Oh, that's not how I wanted to do this. Never mind. I failed. Let me just take a look. It's pretty nondescript. Okay, Mion's forehead was split open, and with a face covered with blood, she smiled and got right up just behind me.
何も終わってない。何も終わってない。
Nothing was over. Nothing was over.
この事件は何も終わってなんかない。
This incident was far from being over.
まだ続いてる。
It was still going on.
まだまだ続いてる。
It was still happening.
誰かこの事件を終わらせてください。
Someone, please end this incident.
この残酷で無残で気の毒で悲しいこの事件を終わらせてください。
This cruel, tragic, unfortunate, sad incident. Please end it.
それだけが
That
俺の望みです。
is my only wish.
あの時一つ叶えてあげたでしょ。
I granted you one before, remember?
今度はダメ。
You don't get any more. Mion firmly held the nail down on my fingertip, and, with her other hand, she slowly slung a mallet up into the air, and... Ah! What? Ah, the all cast review session. How exciting. Let's all go back to Angel Mort. Alright, let's jump right into it. No time to think. No time to think. Ugh. Oh, there's the cheery music.
綿流しを最後までお楽しみいただき誠にありがとうございました。
Thank you very much for enjoying Higurashi when they cry, Watanagashi.
今度のシナリオはいかがだったでしょうか。
How did you like the story this time? Not great, Rena. Thanks for asking.
ちょっぴりでもお楽しみいただければ幸いです。
If you enjoyed it even little, I'm happy.
ちょっぴりも何も。
A little nothing.
また
Not again.
大大バッドエンドですわ。
It was a huge bad ending again, was it not?
プンプンでございますことよ。
It is enough to make me simply furious.
プンプンなのです。
I'm furious.
いやー、みんな
Thank you,
お疲
Rika.
れ。
Well, good work, everyone.
まあその何
Well,
終わり方こそあれだったけど、 今回のシナリオは事実上ミオン編みたいなもんだったんじゃない？
That's how it ended, but don't you think the story was kind of like a Mion chapter?
私大活躍で大満足。にゃはははは。
I'm extremely satisfied with how big a role I played. Yeah.
あんなの大活躍とは言いませんですわ。
You cannot call such a thing a success.
私もリカも殺されちゃったですよ。
Rika and I got killed too, didn't we?
しかもサトコはただのとばっちりなのですよ。
None of this concerns Satoko at all, either.
あんな死に方嫌なのですな。
I didn't want to die like that.
ほら泣かないで。
Now, don't cry.
みーちゃんメインのお話だったように、サトコちゃんメインのお話もあるんだから。
There was a story centering around Mi-chan, so there will probably be one that centers around Satoko-chan too.
今から楽しみだね。
Look forward to it. I don't look forward to that one.
サトコがひどい目にあって、
Hate to admit
じ
it.
わりじわりといたぶり回される話に違いないね。
I'm sure that in that story, Satoko suffers some terrible demise in some slow, deliberate way.
そうなの嫌。
I don't want that. Why?
みーちゃん、
Mi-chan,
悪ふざけが過ぎるとレナもちょっとだけ怒るよ。
if you joke around too much, you'll make me angry too.
みーがぺったんこなのです。
Mi has a flat chest.
なでなでしたくても頭がわからないのです。
Your mind wouldn't understand even if it wanted to be petted.
あ、膨らんできましたわ。
Oh, they expanded.
無節操な体ですのね。
The hell is happening? Your body is so unchaste.
やあみんな、
Hey everyone, I'm here too.
お疲れさ。
Great work. I was talking with a friend about this character, either last night or the night before. And I called him, especially in some of his other art, like arts, not the console art that I use here. I called him like village people looking ass Tomatake or something along those lines, and I made myself laugh quite some time because I was like, it's just his outfit reminded me of like a village people member for some reason in my head. Hey everyone, great work.
また遅れて申し訳ありませんね。
I love how, like, obviously slightly different story and everything and a lot more characters in Umineko, and it was kind of fun to track, you know, who was dying in each episode and like when they died, kind of. But we're two chapters, 2 episodes basically into Higurashi here, and both times we get Tomatake just dying an unceremonious kind of death. I mean, along with blonde-haired lady in theory, right? I'm curious if we'll ever get a scenario where like Tomatake doesn't die. I doubt it. Seems like he's just like just like in BioShock, there's always a lighthouse and a girl and a whatever the fuck. In every Higurashi story, there's a Tomatake death. Oishi says, sorry, we're late again. No.
富武さんに大石さん、
Tomatake-san, Oishi-san.
どうもお疲れ様でした。
Yes, you did a great job as well.
あれ、
Hmm?
高野さんとしーちゃんはまだですか？
Where are Takano-san and Shion-chan?
もちろん来てますよ。
They're coming,
今
of
日はお
course.
招きいただきありがとうございますね。
They're coming, of course. Thank you for inviting us today.
ここ座ってもいい？
May I sit here?
どうぞですわよ。
Yes, go right ahead.
これだけ一堂に集まると圧巻ね。
With all of us here, this is sure to be the best part.
どうかお手柔らかに。
Please, go easy on me.
じゃあ始めて
No,
も
it's all
大丈
your
夫か
fault,
な？
lady. Then should we get started?
これで全員かな？
Is this everyone?
圭一を除けば全員なのです。
Everyone but Kechi.
ってことは、前原さんは相変わらず収録が終わってなくて、早々に次回シナリオの台本読みなんですか？
Which means my bro-san is as busy as ever recording the script. Has he already started recording the script for the next story?
気の毒な話ね。
How unfortunate.
私たちだけで盛り上がっちゃ悪い気がするわ。
Doesn't feel right to leave him out.
高野さん、そんなの気にしなくていいんですよ。
Mio-san, you don't have to worry about that.
こういう時は思いっきり盛り上がった方がかえって気を使わせないもんなんです。
At times like these, going all out is actually a way of showing consideration.
それもそうですわね。
That's true, isn't it?
せっかくこれだけ集まったのにお通夜じゃつまらないですわ。
We're all here for once. Holding a wake would be boring.
じゃあケイチ君には悪いけど僕たちでやらせてもらおうか。
Then, sorry, Kechi-kun, but we'll take things from here.
となれば決まりだね。
It's decided.
じゃあみんなコップコップ。
Okay, everyone, get the cups.
炭酸が嫌いな人いる？
Does anyone not like carbonated drinks?
大人の皆さんにはアルコールもありますよ。
There's alcohol for the adults too. No.
リカちゃんは何を飲む？
Rika-chan, what will you have?
ブドウジュース？
Grape juice?
オレンジジュース？
Orange juice? Apple juice? Me.
富田家のと同じ泡麦茶がいいのです。
I want what Tontake's having.
こーら
Hey!
リカちゃんもお酒はダメ。
Rika-chan, you're not allowed to drink.
みんな
No.
コップ持ちましたですか？
No, I'm all for giving Rika drinks. Let's go. Give her half an alcohol and see what happens. Satoko says, has everyone got their cups?
早く乾杯しないとジュースがぬるくなってしまいますわ。
If we don't make a toast soon, my juice will get warm.
おね、温度は誰が取るの？
Who will lead, Mion?
レナでいいでしょ。
Rina should do it.
じゃあレナよろしく。
Okay, Rina, go ahead.
では、ゴン。
Then, ahem.
みんな、綿流し終了。お疲れ様でした。
Everyone, excellent work. The Watanagashi chapter is now over.
お疲れ様でした。
Thank you. Wow, clap, 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 clap.
じゃあみんな揃ったんだしね。
Okay, everybody's
ま
here.
た今回のシナリオを議論してみないかい？
Shall we debate the story again? I'm really curious, like, I don't know if I should be reading into these sections that much. But, like, the fact now that, Kechi hasn't made it an appearance twice now? Something weird about that. How, I mean, like I said, these extra things, it is extra. It's a dumb little non-canon-y, like, thing, right? But what if? What if there was some weird, interesting tie or something to be revealed in these that's like, we just assume that there's nothing important to these sections, but like, I don't know what it'd possibly be. But Kechi's absence is like important somehow. Okay, everybody's here. Shall we debate the story again?
そうですね。
I think so.
じゃあ自由意見でいきましょうか。
Then let's get some honest opinions.
誰か意見のある人はいますか？
Does anyone have something to say?
意見も何も今回のシナリオで謎は全て解けたのではありませんこと？
What is there to say? Weren't all the mysteries solved in this chapter?
犯人はミオンさん。
Criminal was Mion-san.
諸悪の根源は全部園崎家。
The root of all the evil was the Sonozaki family.
それで決着でございませんの？
Was that not the conclusion?
そうだね。
I see.
みーちゃんは犯人じゃないって信じてたんだけどな。
I was so sure that Mi-chan wasn't the criminal.
大甘ですよ。
Too naive.
こんなのは前回の鬼隠しから十分予想できたことじゃないですか。
This was entirely predictable from the previous Onikakushi chapter, was it not?
むしろ予想通りすぎて呆れちゃうくらいですよ。
In fact, it's almost shocking how predictable it was.
そうですね。
You're right.
前回のシナリオをプレイされた方の予想の大多数と合致するんじゃないでしょうかね。
It probably did align with most of the predictions made by players of the previous scenario.
期待通りの展開になったみたいなのです。
It's like the story went exactly as everyone expected.
じゃあこれで日暮の泣く頃に水のメインシナリオはほとんど終わりなのかな。
Then, does that mean the main Higurashi when they cry scenario is pretty much over?
すべての元凶はみーちゃんの園崎家で決まり？
So it's a sure thing that the root of everything was Mi-chan's family?
そうかしら。
I wonder.
私はむしろこれで園崎家犯人説はなくなったと思ってるくらいだけれど。
In fact, I think that this all means the theory of the Sonozaki's being the guilty party has been disproven.
あ、高野さんと意見が合いましたね。
Oh, you have the same opinion, Mio-san?
私も同じ意見。
I think the same way.
私はタタリなんか信じないけど、
Though I still don't believe in curses.
でも少なくとも園崎家が真犯人である確率は薄くなったと思ってるね。
At the very least, however, I think the chance of the Sonozaki family being the true criminals has gone down.
あ、
Huh?
どうしてなの？
Why is that?
だってみーちゃんがみんなを殺したって自供したじゃない。
Didn't Mi-chan confess that she killed everyone?
そうですわ。
That's right.
私とリカを殺しておいて今さら犯人じゃないなんてどういう意味なんですの？
She killed Rika and me. So what do you mean she isn't the criminal after all that?
別に煙に巻くつもりはないよ。
I'm not trying to confuse you or anything.
たださ、私ミオンが全ての犯人だとするにはいろいろと無理が多いんだよ。
It's just that I think there are a lot of things that don't go along with Mion being the one behind everything.
ちょっと考えればすぐわかるよ。
If you think about it a little, you'll get it. Huh?
僕は園崎家犯人説の近からず遠からずに真相があると確信してるんだけ
I'd believe the truth to be more or less in line with the Sonosaki family theory.
ど、ぜひミオンちゃんの説が聞きたいね。
But I'd love to hear your theory, Mion-chan.
ではご拝聴。
Then hear me out.
ラストで私がさ、過去の事件に自分は全て関与しているって白状するでしょ。
Near the end, I confess that I participated in the past incidents, right?
あそこで感じた大きな違和感が根拠かな。
I thought something wasn't really right about that, so I guess that's my basis.
だって考えてみなよ。
I mean, think about it.
過去の事件が園崎家の起こしたものならすごいことだよ。
If the incidents of the past were caused by the Sonozaki family, that would be crazy.
だってどれもほぼ完全犯罪でしょ。
I mean, wouldn't they all be perfect crimes?
園崎家以外の犯人や事故で決着するという究極の犯罪だもの。
They're all attributed to other criminals or simple accidents, after all.
そりゃそうでしょう。
Well, that's right.
だって大きな力を持つ園崎家が暗躍してるんだもの。
Sonozaki family is very powerful, and they were acting behind the scenes.
完全犯罪なんてお茶の子さいさいでしょ。
Wouldn't pulling off perfect crimes be child's play for them?
そこが違和感なんだよ。
That's just it. That's the weird thing.
過去4年間園崎本家の気配を全く感じさせずにあれだけ上手に人を殺したり消したりしてきたんだよ。
Sonozaki family have been killing and racing people so well for the last 4 years, they didn't even let out a hint that they were behind it, right?
そこへ行くと5年目の事件はすごくチープなんだよ。
But the incident in the 5th year, now that was really cheap.
手当たり次第に片っ端から消して殺して、
They were killing and racing people at random.
しかも園崎家とのつながりは簡単にカンパできちゃうしさ。
Any idiot could have seen the connection with the Sonosaki family.
そう言われてみればそうだね。
Now that I think about it, you're right.
過去の事件はたたりとも犯罪ともつかない不思議な連続事件だったけど、
The incidents in the past were all mysterious, and nobody could tell if they were because of the curse or just simple crimes.
今回の5年目の事件だけはすごく乱暴だったもんね。
But then, on the 5th year, they suddenly got really violent.
何を言ってるのかよくわかりませんわ。
I do not understand what you are saying.
リカにはわかります？
Rika, do you?
つまり園崎家が本当に犯人なら5年目の事件ももっともっと上手にやったと言っているのですよ。
She means that if the Sonozaki family were the real criminals, then they would have done a much, much better job with the incident on the 5th year.
じゃあつまり何ですの？
So, what does that mean?
私とリカを殺したのはミオンさんではなく、ミオンさんに取り付いた鬼の仕業だったってことですの？
Mion-san wasn't the one who killed Rika and me, but it was the work of the demon who possessed Mion-san?
ほらほら、
Come now.
やっぱり前回の私の予想通りミオンさんは悪い人じゃなかったのですわ。
Just like I thought last time, Mion-san wasn't a bad person after all, was she?
そうそう、
That's right.
レナもサトコちゃんも何かが取り付いて悪いことをしてるって意見だったもんね。
Satoko-chan and I thought that she was doing bad things because she was possessed by something.
じゃあやっぱり私たちの説は正しかったのかな。
Then, does that mean our theory was right?
私も前回から引き続きたたり説ですが、今回のシナリオでさらに確信を深めましたよ。
I've been supporting the cause theory since the last after party. The story this time makes me all the more convinced it's true.
ラストのラストで私が明かす
That fact revealed at the very end.
目撃されていたにもかかわらず、その数日前に死んでいたという高野さんやミオンさんの情報はまさにそれを裏付けると思います。
The information regarding how Mion-san and Takano-san had died days before, despite being witnessed, seems to indeed support that theory.
あらあら、
Oh my.
前回は弱かったたたり派が今回は随分強気ね。
I see the cursed believers who seemed unconfident last time have grown quite a bit more self-assured.
人間犯人説の皆さんには反論はないのかしら。
Do any of those who think it was a human have any objections?
前回人間犯人説だったのは確かみーちゃんにリカちゃん、
Last time, Mi-chan and Rika-chan were the ones who thought it was the work of a person.
それから富武さんでしたよね。
Toмотaka-san did too, didn't he?
では張り切って反論をお願いします。
Okay, let's hear what you got then.
参ったな。
You got me there. Why does Tomotake always feel like he doesn't want to be here? He is here straight up for just a paycheck. In both the main story and in these things, he's always just like, I'm here so I don't get fined. I'm here because I'm obligated to. I wish... It's like he's a struggling actor who's made it into a visual novel when that was not his hopes and dreams his whole life.
うまい言葉が思いつかないな。
I can't quite find the right words.
たたり派の根拠の一つが合わない死亡時刻なんですよね。
One of the pieces of evidence for the curse theory is the mismatching times of death, right?
じゃあそのトリックを崩せれば人間犯人説は立証できるわけですね。
So if I could disprove that theory, it would prove that a human did it, wouldn't it?
お、シオンには何かいい反論があるの？
Oh, Shion, do you have a good objection?
まあ一応。
Well, I suppose.
でも私人間犯人説ではお姉と同じ意見ですけど、園崎家が主犯だと思ってる点ではお姉とは違いますよ。
I have the same opinion as you, Mion, that it was a human, but I don't think the Sonozaki family are the main culprits either.
それでもよければ反論してみせますけど。
If it's okay with you, I'll offer my objections. Whoa! Ho, 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 ho.
何でも結構ですわ。
Show us what you got.
これがたたりじゃないというならその証拠を示してごらんなさいませ。
If you say it wasn't the curse, then let's hear your evidence.
じゃあシオンちゃん、
Okay, Shion-chan.
さっきから話題になってるラストのトリック。
That last trick we've been talking about.
ミオンちゃんは事件当日に井戸に落ちて死んでいたにもかかわらず、数日後に現れてケイイチ君とあなたを殺したのはどうやってなのかしら？
Despite Mion-chan having died the day of the incident from falling into the well, how did she appear days later to kill you and Ki-chan? Kechi-kun.
ズバリ
Ki-chan.
園崎姉妹共犯説です。
Here it is. My Sonozaki sister's conspiracy theory.
理由は簡単。
My reason is simple.
だってお姉はあの時点でもう死んでるんですから、ケイちゃんをさせるのは私しかいないんです。私がお姉の変装してケイちゃんを刺す。
My reason is simple. If Mion was dead by that time, then the only one who could have stabbed Ki-chan was me. I disguised myself as Mion and stabbed him. And see, that's what I was thinking. But now, the weird thing about this is if the game here in this extra bit is a theory being kicked around by certain characters, that makes me less confident in my own theory, which is kind of a bummer because I'm like, there's a part of me that's thinking like, oh, the game wouldn't offer the actual solution as a discussion point here amongst the characters, right? There's a part of me that thinks that, like, maybe I'm wrong in thinking that, but at least there's a small part of me that thinks, like, oh, if they're kicking around the idea, then it's not going to be correct. Because the game wouldn't outright give you, in these sections, the right answer. I just don't think it would present, like, a ton of the options for a correct answer and have the correct thing hidden amongst it. But maybe I'm overthinking things, as I often do. Here it is. Wait, no, I already read that. I described myself as Mion and stabbed him.
そして実質へ戻り、幽霊との取っ組み合いの狂言をして飛び降り自殺。
Then, I went back to my room, pretended to have a tussle with a ghost, then jumped right down and killed myself.
強いて言えば、この場合のミオンちゃんは泥をかぶる役だね。
So when you get down to it, Mion-chan, in this case, would be the one to take the blame.
村長さんたちに直接手を下し、シオンちゃんはただの被害者の形にする。
She would take care of the mayor in person, and Shion-chan would be made into merely a victim.
そして井戸の中に姿を隠していれば、変装したシオンちゃんが神出鬼没にいくらでも殺人を犯せるって寸法さ。
If she hid herself in the well, the disguised Shion-chan could show up where she pleased and murder whoever she wanted, all planned from the start.
なるほどね。
I get it.
だとするとミオンさんにとっての誤算は2つ。
Then Mion-san made two mistakes.
死体が見つかってしまったことと、隠れているだけのつもりが死んでしまったこと。
First was that her corpse was found, and second was dying when she only planned to hide.
ってことになるわけですね。
That's what it would mean.
あれれれ、
Oh, well now.
確かになんとなく辻褄が合うような。
You're right. There is something logical about that.
でもやっぱり納得できないでしょ
However, I'm still not convinced.
過去の完全犯罪の華麗さと違いすぎるもの。
It was too different from the magnificent perfect crimes in the past.
その計画、たとえうまくいってもミオンは悪役でしょ。
Even if their plan went well, Mion would end up the bad guy, wouldn't she?
一生隠れて、あるいはシオンのふりをしたりして生きていかなきゃならないんでしょ。
She'd either have to hide the rest of her life or live pretend to be Shion, wouldn't she?
窮屈すぎ。
That'd be too constrained.
こんなの完全犯罪とは言わないって。
You can't call that a perfect crime.
つまり死ぬにせよ消えるにせよ、ミーはいなくなってしまうわけなのです。
In other words, whether by dying or disappearing, Mi would have to go away.
リカちゃま、それいい意見。
Rika-chama, that's a good thought.
つまり園崎ミオンが表舞台からいなくなるのは彼女らのシナリオの一部だと思うわけです。
That means we should consider that Mion Sonozaki leaving the stage was part of their plan.
だからラストでミオンはポンポンと過去の事件の罪をかぶるんですよ。
That's why, at the end, Mion took the blame for all the incidents in the past.
全部の事件の責任を一身に引き受けて退場。
She took responsibility for all of them herself, then left.
そうすることで過去の事件の真犯人を隠蔽できる。
By doing that, she could cover up the true culprit behind the past incidents.
つまり今年の事件はチープなんかじゃなく、過去の事件を丸ごと完全犯罪にするための締めくくりの事件。
Which means that this incident wasn't shabby, its purpose was to cement all the past incidents as perfect crimes.
そういう位置づけになるのかな。
Suppose that's what it comes down to.
一番疑われている園崎家の若き当主が全てを自白して失踪。
The young leader of the Sonozaki family, who was the biggest suspect, confessed to everything and disappeared.
彼女もしくは園崎家以外の真犯人にとってこれほど美味しい結末はないってことになるのかしらね。
For her, or perhaps for the non-Sonozaki true culprit, there likely was no more favorable outcome.
話が全然わかりませんのよ。
I don't understand even an inch of your conversation.
ミオンさんが罪をかぶるってどういう意味ですの？
What do you mean by Mion-san taking the blame?
犯人なんじゃないんですの？
Is she not the culprit?
つまりね、
Let me put it this way.
連続開始事件の真犯人が別にいるの。
The true culprit behind the serial freak death incidents was somebody else.
その人を守るためにみーちゃんが過去の事件も全て自分が起こしたと嘘の告白をしたってみんなは言ってるの。
Mii-chan gave a fake confession that she caused all the previous incidents to protect that person. Or so everyone's saying.
これは劇中のセリフになりますが、とんだ名探偵さんがいたもんです。
My. Said this during the story, but it seems we have an incredible detective on our hands. I'm telling you fucking right now. If this is going to be the case. She was covering for Oishi. Oishi's the mastermind behind everything. He's the worst person ever. He's killed people. He's doing stuff. I'm saying it right now.
ちょっと説得力を感じますよ。
Yes, it does seem a bit persuasive.
真の犯人をごまかすために起こした事件。
An incident started to throw the scent off the true criminal.
それが私の推理。
That's my reasoning.
さらに言えば、その真の犯人は園崎家以外の存在だと思ってるんだけどね。
So if I go further, I think the true culprit isn't part of the Sonozaki family.
4年連続で完全犯罪に成功した謎の人物をさらに守るためにミオンちゃんが起こした捜査撹乱の事件ということかしら。
So is Mion-chan disrupting the incident to further protect the mystery person who pulled off perfect crimes 4 years running then?
そういうことです。
That's right.
鬼隠しのシナリオで名前だけ登場した監督ってのがかなり怪しいかな。
The director who only appeared by name in the last story is pretty suspicious if you ask me.
すごいです。
Amazing.
実に辻褄が合いますのですよ。
It really does all add up. Cop.
私はそれでも園崎家プラス姉妹が犯人だと思ってますけどね。
I still think the Sonozaki family and the sisters are the culprits, though.
御三家による古いしがらみを断ち切るために姉妹が起こした過去の清算のための事件。
An incident caused by the sisters to sever their old fetters of the three families. Fetters to the three families. To clear away the past.
それが私の推理です。
That's my theory.
過去の清算ってのはつまり
Clearing away the past.
暗躍の歴史に終止符を打つため御三家の罪を最後の当主のミオンが全てかぶり姉妹揃って退場したってことだね。
You mean that they placed the blame for the three families' crimes on their final leader, Mion, to put an end to a dark history, and then the two of them left?
そういうことです。
That's right.
私たち姉妹が悩みに悩み抜いた末に選んだ悲しい物語だったというわけです。
It would make it a sad story where we sisters finally chose to end it after a lot of worry.
できすぎですね。
Huh, we went a little too far.
すごいです。
Amazing.
実に辻褄が合いますですよ。
It really does all add up. Clap. Oh, I knew it. Clap.
あれ
Rika can't help but clap. Wait, what?
なんだかリカちゃんにも意見がありそうだね。
It looks like Rika-chan has an opinion too.
リカちゃんもどうぞ。
Go ahead, Rika-chan.
では皆さんに質問なのです。
I have a question for you all.
ケイチはどうして刺されなければいけないのですか？
Why did Kechi need to get stabbed?
リカ、そんなのは決まってますわよ。
We already know why that is, Rika.
入っちゃいけない細具店に勝手に入ったから決まってますわ。
It's obviously because he went into the forbidden storehouse without asking.
こうして思い返すと他のシナリオでも死んだ富武さんと高野さんの死もきっと細具殿に忍び込んだせいってことなんでしょうな。
Thinking back on it now, Toмотaki-kun and Takano-san probably died in the previous story because they snuck into that storehouse, eh?
ありゃ
Giggle.
おかしなことになってきたわね。
That is rather strange indeed.
え？
Huh?
おかしなことって何がですか？
What is it that's strange? Ah!
レナさん、そうですわ。
Rina-san, that's right.
思い出してくださいませ。
Won't you think back, please?
そうなのです。
That's right.
例えば鬼隠しのシナリオではケイチは細具殿には忍び込んでいないのに命を狙われているのです。
In the previous scenario, they were after Kechi's life even though he didn't sneak into the ritual storehouse. Murmur.
それはきっとほら
Well, that's because, yeah,
ひなみ沢はよそ者を嫌うんだろ
Hinamizawa hates outsiders, right?
だから圭一君も命を狙われたんだよ
That's why they tried to kill Kechi-kun. That's why they tried to kill Kechi-kun.
それはおかしいでしょ
That'd be strange, though.
だったらケイちゃんの両親だって襲われていいはず
They should have attacked Kei-chan's parents, too, in that case.
どう見ても両親に危機が迫っていたようには見えないね
No matter how you look at it, though, his parents never seem to be in much danger.
今回だけでなく他のシナリオでも
Either this time or the last.
さあさあ、人間犯人説の皆様方、
Hear that? Everyone who thinks it was a human's doing?
圭一さんが狙われる理由がちゃんと説明できませんと、人間が犯人とは立証できませんでしたよ。
Unless you can properly explain the reason Kechi-san's life was threatened, you can't definitively prove the criminal was human, can you? No.
でもたたり説だとしても、やはり前原さんが前回も今回も襲われる理由が分かりませんからね。
Even with the curse theory, however, we don't know why Maibara-san was attacked this time or last time.
もう一息で解明できそうだったけど、
With a little more, we would have it.
やっぱり謎
we
は
would
た
have
くさん
had it.
残ってるみたいだね。
There's still a lot of mysteries remaining. Giggle.
圭一くん以外の人の死には何かしら理由が見つけられるんだけど、
We can find
圭
some.
一くんだけなぜかいつも曖昧。
We can find some kind of reason for everyone but Kechi-kun to die. But for some reason, Kechi-kun's death is always vague.
鬼隠しでもたらい回しでも、そして今回の綿流しでも、
Both this time and last.
西宮殿に踏み入るのとは無関係に狙われてる。
He was being targeted regardless of whether he went into the ritual storehouse.
では今回だけではなく他のシナリオでも殺されるようなことをしちゃってるんじゃありませんこと？
Then does that not mean he was doing something that got him killed both last time and this time?
なるほど。
I see.
他のシナリオと今回の前原さんの行動に共通項が見つけられれば、それが全体の事件の謎を解く鍵になりそうですね。
If we can find something in common about Maibara-kun's actions between last time and this time, seems like it would be the key to unraveling all the incidents.
ざっとシナリオを読み比べたけど圭一君なりに日々を送ってると思うよ
I skimmed through the stories again, but I think he's going about his life in his own way.
西宮殿の一件さえ除けば圭一君の日々の暮らしに不審な点は見当たらないけどな
Though, aside from the part with the storehouse, I didn't spot anything suspicious about his daily lifestyle.
圭一君、今回と他のシナリオの時に何をやったのかな？
Kechi-kun, what did you do both last time and this time?
殺されるような悪いこと。
Something bad that would cause you to be killed.
迷った時には本人に聞いてみるのが一番なのですよ。
It's best to ask the person himself when you're unsure.
ほほ
Oh ho!
う、俺が一人寂しく次回の台本読みをしている間にみんなはそういう話題で盛り上がっていたわけか。
So while I was reading the script for the next game all by myself, you were all talking about me by my back, huh?
ほう、
I see.
というわけなの。
Well, that's that.
だからね、圭一君の自分の胸に聞いてみてほしいんだけど。
Anyway, Kechi-kun, you should try asking your own heart.
ケイちゃん殺されるようなどんな悪いことをやったわけ？
Kei-chan, so what kind of bad thing did you do that would get you killed?
私にいつも働いている狼藉のせいに違いないですわ。
It must surely be all the violent things he does towards me.
僕に時々危ない視線を向けて妄想に浸っている顔はまさに犯罪者そのものなのです。
The way he sometimes directs a dangerous gaze my way and makes strange deluded expressions is surely a criminal act.
そうそう
Yeah, yeah.
年頃の女の子たちに囲まれて毎日幸せってのがそもそもの罪のような気がするな。
Being happy all day, surrounded by girls around his age, is kind of like a crime in the first place.
なははは
No!
それは確かに重罪ですね。
A grave crime indeed.
前原さん、実に羨ましい主人公役ですよ。
Myberson is truly an envious main character, isn't he?
たまには変わってください。
Switch out with me once in a while, would you? That's a weird thing to say, Oishi. That's weird. Cute.
まあ確かにあれだけ役得がいろいろあれば最後にちょっと刺されるくらいお安いご用よね。
Well, with all those perks, getting stabbed at the end really isn't much of a price to pay.
というわけでケイイチさん、
Well, there you go, Kechi-san.
あなたの犯した罪を思い出しまして。
Have you remembered the crimes you committed? Mugawa!
今回も他のシナリオでも
Both this time and last time,
清く正しく生きてる俺がいつもラストはひどい目に。
I live a proper and just life, and I always meet a terrible fate in the end.
その上さらに自分の胸に聞いてみろだと。
What was this about? Ask my own heart.
聞きたいのは俺の方だぞ。これは何かの暴力だ。
I'm the one who wants to know. This is bullying!
かわいそかわいそです。
How sad. How sad.
今度頭をなでなでしてあげますですよ。
I'll pet your head next time for you.
今回のシナリオを読んだ上で改めて鬼隠しを読むべきかな。
I wonder if we should go back and read Oni Kakushi again after reading this one. Nope. Can't make me do it, Shion. Sorry. Don't have the time.
私はミオンの立場になって綿流しを読み返してみるよ。
I'm gonna put myself in Mion's shoes and read back over Watanagashi.
ケイちゃんの立場で読んだ時とは違う発見があるかもね。
Maybe I'll find something different compared to when I read it from Ki-chan's point of view.
私は鬼の仕業だとずーっと思ってますのよ。
I kinda am joking about it, but I'm gonna be 100% real with you. Especially because these sections are seemingly shorter than in Umineko. But I actually think I could probably see myself maybe not committing 100% attention to it, but even though I would hate to listen to my own voice reading it, re-listen to at least like the first half of Watanagashi here, chapter 2, just out of pure curiosity, just to like 100% nail down like the timeline of certain events. Now I say that I can't fully say I can't fully trust myself to actually pull through with that, but it would make sense for me to do just a bit of it, especially if I'm going to be taking this break here from Higurashi for like a week. But I'll just see. I was highly resistant to doing it in Umineko for reasons, and it's not like I definitely wouldn't listen to anyone else read it or play this. Don't want to get not spoiled, but like tainted, for lack of a better term, tainted in another way by listening to another person potentially going through this game or something. But maybe I break my own, not break a rule necessarily, but break my own non-habit of doing it. Because I definitely can't, like, spend the time, unfortunately, to just reread it myself. Just reload the chapter and start from the beginning. But if I set myself on in, like, the background... Ugh, I hate listening to myself, though. I'm disgusting. I'll think of something. I always think it was, I will always think it was the doing of a demon.
すべての現象とトリックはすべて鬼で説明がつきますのよ。
I will always think of it as doing of a demon. Oh, I read that. All the events and tricks can be explained with a demon.
なんだかプラズマみたいなのです。
It's kind of like plasma.
プレイしてくださった皆さんはどうお感じになりましたか？
What did you, the readers, think about it?
ぜひ先に進む前にいろいろと推理してみてくださいね。
We'd certainly like to hear your thoughts and opinions. I'll write a letter to Ryukishi and let him know my opinions of Chapter 2, Watanagashi of Higurashi When They Cry. Gotta find his address, though.
まだまだ先は長いですけど、頑張ってくださいね。
There's still a way to go, but do your best.
それでは引き続き日暮らしの泣く頃に水をお楽しみください。
With that, please look forward to the rest of the Higurashi series. Yay! Good job, everyone! Let's go! Round of applause for everyone! Let's go! Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. So, with that, as I've been referencing last few streams here, especially of Higurashi, I will almost certainly not be able to stream on Saturday. I'm going to be a very busy lad come Saturday. So it would mean no Higurashi stream on Saturday. I originally thought with the idea, maybe push it to Friday, like bump it up a day. Or, I don't know, get crazy and push it to Sunday afternoon Higurashi or something weird. Ultimately, I'm deciding a Higurashi small little break. I think I did this a lot during Umineko. I think I'm just in between chapters, both for my pleasure and also to have others catch up if they wanted to on VODs and stuff. So basically, at least a week-long break. I still want to stick to Tuesdays and Saturdays, so with nothing happening on Saturday, I would say maybe Chapter 3 starts on Tuesday, but also, I'm saying it now, do not be surprised if it's like nothing Saturday, nothing Tuesday, as far as Higurashi goes. Maybe something else streaming, but nothing on Tuesday. Nothing on Saturday, nothing on Tuesday, and we might return back to Higurashi. Let me find the date. April 27th. Don't be surprised. Then we start Chapter 3, bam, on the 27th. You have like a week and a half to catch up on back streams if you want to catch up on them. Or you just don't want to listen to my voice for a week and a half. That's understandable as well. You can watch any of my other streams, either live or recorded. Find yourself a small series I did and be like, damn. You could say something that no one would ever say and be like, I'm missing the sound of your voice and your opinions on things and generally the way you play video games for some weird reason. And then you find on youtube.com a small series I did maybe that you could finish at your leisure in like a week and a half. Bam. Easy. So yeah, maybe Higurashi back in a week on the 23rd of April, the night of the 23rd, or maybe a week and a half from now, basically the 27th of April, which is a Saturday. Other than that, we finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth last night, so that's done and should not be showing up on the channel anymore. A couple other things that I'm playing are about to be wrapped up, if not wrapped up in one more stream. So this is kind of like a week of cleaning up the schedule and the plate. So I would say in between now and when Higurashi shows back up, there'll probably be a new game started. Especially because Final Fantasy was so large, I probably am going to err on trying to play and finish a couple of smaller games. I already have some ideas, but a couple of smaller games to supplement a bit of time there. You know, after you finish such a long game, and I swear a long game, it was like what? When all was said and done, it was like 133 hours or so in Final Fantasy. So don't be surprised to see if a couple of new games pop up here on the channel. Doors Paradox only has one more stream to it, I would imagine, so that'll happen probably sometime over the next week. I'm gonna stop streaming Balatro as soon as I finish, as soon as I win a round of Balatro. I just want to get a victory on stream. So maybe I choose to do that. And I don't think I have anything else to say. Please be excited for Chapter 3, whatever the fuck it's called. Too lazy to look it up right now. Thanks for watching, as always, with me. Live or archived. Twitch VODs, YouTube VODs, all that jazz. Have yourself a nice rest of your Tuesday night. Great week. Halfway through. As always, stay safe. Stay well. And I will hopefully see you in another stream.